Peerless Douluo, who let him join Shrek. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176 Mr. Zhuang's Joy, Return to Shrek. After Lao Zhuan, Lao Song, Lao Mu, Xian Liner left, only Lao Zhuang and Yan Xiaos were left in the room. Yan Xiaos needs to take Jiang Ming back to the academy, but Mr. Zhuang has a look of regret on his face. He still couldn't bear it. With so many blue scale 7 wonders flowers and the existence of fairy grass, the attraction of that place to him was huge. But now that Mr. Mu has spoken, and Jiang Ming has agreed to keep it secret, he naturally can't go to that place to find out. Xiaos, since the matter here has come to an end, I will go back to the academy first. Mr. Zhuang glanced in the direction of Sunset Forest with some reluctance, and then planned to set off back to the academy. At this time, Jiang Ming, who ran to nowhere, came back from a distance on a flying sword. Mr. Zhuang, wait a minute, Jiang Ming stopped Mr. Zhuang's leaving figure, stepped on the flying sword and slowly moved to Mr. Zhuang's side, whispering something. At first, the expression on Mr. Zhuang's face was very dull, but as Jiang Ming spoke, Mr. Zhuang's eyes suddenly lit up. There was even a look of surprise on his face. Really? Mr. Zhuang looked at Jiang Ming, wanting to make sure. Of course, Mr. Zhuang, shall I take you there right now? Jiang Ming said with a chuckle. Okay, there was almost a tremor in Mr. Zhuang's voice, and he said 3 good words in a row, which showed how excited he was. Seeing this, Jiang Ming turned around and looked at Yan Xiaos, who was not far away, and said loudly, "Brother, I will take Mr. Zhuang to place. You wait here for a while. I'll be back soon." After saying that, without waiting for Yan Xiaos to respond, Jiang Ming and Mr. Zhuang flew towards the Sunset Forest. On the way, Mr. Zhuang couldn't help but ask, "Xiaoming, didn't you say you wanted to keep that place a secret? Why did you let me in?" Jiang Ming stepped on the flying sword and whispered softly said, "I just talked with Yao Yao. It said that you, Mr. Zhuang, can go in to study and practice, but you cannot pick the plants inside without their permission. It is also because of your martial arts, Mr. Zhuang. The soul is the tree of life. The martial soul of the tree of life is inherently good for plants, so they agreed." Hearing Jiang Ming's explanation, Mr. Zhuang's doubts were solved. However, what Mr. Zhuang didn't know was that without Jiang Ming, even if his martial spirit was the tree of life, he would not be allowed to enter the Ice and Fire Eyes. Jiang Ming had noticed Mr. Zhuang's look of disappointment and regret before, so when the elders were having a meeting, he went back to the Ice and Fire Eyes alone to talk to Yao Yao. After paying a certain price and formulating a series of requirements and conditions, the fairy grasses agreed to let Mr. Zhuang enter the Ice and Fire Eyes. As for the price, only the fairy grass and Jiang Ming know. Soon, Jiang Ming and Mr. Zhuang came to the sky above the Ice and Fire Eyes of the Sunset Forest. Because Yao Yao said hello, the poisonous mist of the blue scale 7 Ju flower did not take the initiative to attack the two of them. Of course, the poisonous fog has not dissipated, it is just maintained as usual. However, these poisonous mists that do not actively attack pose no threat to the 95th level life Douluo Mr. Zhuang and Jiang Ming, who is already immune to all poisons. After a while, the two came to the valley where the Ice and Fire Eyes were. When Mr. Zhuang saw this treasured land in the world, even though he was over 100 years old, he couldn't help but lose his temper. His body was trembling slightly, his pupils were constricted, and his eyes were full of horror. This is the Yaoxiang Kilo Immortal. This is the 9th grade Ginseng King. This is Mr. Zhuang looked at what he could see. Everything. He excitedly named some of the talents and treasures he knew. But even a senior like Mr. Zhuang, who has an extremely in-depth study of plants, when faced with these natural and earthly treasures in the eyes of Binghuo Liangai, there are many that he cannot name, or even do not know at all know. Seeing Mr. Zhuang like this, Jiang Ming knew that he had done the right thing. He walked up to Yao Yao and said in a deep voice, "Mr. Zhuang is a senior I respect very much. Don't mess around. As you know, my teacher is an extremely powerful soul master." There was a hint of warning in Jiang Ming's voice. He knows the character of these fairy grasses. As long as Mr. Zhuang does not destroy this place, the fairy grasses will not do anything to Mr. Zhuang. On the way here, Jiang Ming had already told Mr. Zhuang that based on his understanding of Mr. Zhuang, he would definitely be able to live in harmony with the immortal grass. It's just that believing is believing, and understanding is understanding, but there are still some things that need to be said, and it is always right to be a deterrent. I know, as long as he doesn't fuse us like you, we won't do anything to him, Yao Yao said warmly, swaying the petals. Jiang Ming nodded, said a few words to Mr. Zhuang, and left here. What he didn't know was that unlike the contradictory scenes he was worried about, Mr. Zhuang and the grass jelly were getting along extremely harmoniously. Old Zhuang, who possesses the martial spirit of the tree of life, is naturally popular with plants, and Mr. Zhuang is an old man who likes to study the characteristics of medicinal herbs. He knows a lot and talks a lot when it comes to the immortal herbs. While studying the fairy grasses around the ice and fire eyes, he told them stories about the outside world and his own experiences. From time to time, he also played a few rounds of mahjong with the fairy grasses. As a super Douluo with a tree of life martial spirit, Mr. Zhuang even used his own soul skills to improve the immortal grass. This move made Mr. Zhuang gain the favor of all the fairy grass. How should I put it? In just a few days, the relationship between Mr. Zhuang and the jellygrass people felt much better than with Jiang Ming. In this case, Mr. Zhuang also received some small gifts from the fairy grass people. Coupled with the huge energy and vitality of the ice and fire eyes, in less than a month, Mr. Zhuang felt that his bottleneck of level 95 was showing signs of breaking through. You know, as a healing soul master and a 95th level super Douluo level healing soul master, Mr. Zhuang is already one of the top healing soul masters on the mainland. If you go one step further, it will raise the ceiling of today's healing soul masters. Jiang Ming didn't know that Mr. Zhuang and the grass jelly at the Binghuo Liangai were having more fun than him. He had already followed his senior brother Yan Xiao's on his way back to the academy. He was still in his early 16 years when he came out, and now he is almost 18. 18 years old, he is already at the age he was when he traveled through his previous life. Jiang Ming sighed somewhat in his heart. 2 different 18 years, the experiences are so different. As he was approaching the academy, Yan Xiao's pulled Jiang Ming aside and said in a slightly teasing tone, "Junior brother, in the past 2 years since you disappeared, that girl Li Zhuan has been looking for you like crazy. When we went to Sunset Forest, that girl had been looking for you for more than a year. Now she has returned to the academy. Please think carefully about what to do. Comfort her." After saying that, Yan Xiao's turned into a stream of light and flew towards Poseidon Pavilion. As for the evolution of Jiang Ming's light elf, he still needs to discuss it in detail with his teacher. Chapter 177. I'm back. After listening to Yan Xiao's words, Jiang Ming's already somewhat uneasy heart suddenly became even more uneasy. Actually, he thought about this problem on the way back. He had disappeared for 2 years. Apart from the elders at the college, the ones who were most worried about him were Zhang Lexun and Lao Nai. Lao Nai and the others were okay. After all, they were studying at Shrek Academy. They wouldn't be too worried about not going back for a year or two. But Sister Lexun knew a lot, and Yan Xiao's also said that Zhang Lexun had been looking for him for more than a year after he had been missing for 2 years. Alice Yu Jian flew towards Poseidon Island. Jiang Ming's mind was a little confused. He is not particularly good at comforting people, and even his relationship with Zhang Lexun, if there had not been a breakthrough after the last love affair, he would probably still have a long way to go. What should I do? Do you have any good ideas, Jiang? Ming didn't think of any good way to comfort people, so he set his sights on his own spiritual sea full of talents. Now there are many people in his spiritual sea. 6 elves, including Rong, 7 in total. Huh? Is the master asking us, comforting people? No experience, elves, look at me and I look at you, with clear eyes. Rong, too, shook his little head. Just because it has lived for 10,000 years does not mean that it has 10,000 years of experience. You guys, Jiang Ming became even more helpless when he saw that his comrades in the Sea of Spirit were helpless. At this moment, Jiang Ming had arrived above Poseidon Island. Below, a slender figure stood on the edge of Poseidon Island, looking at his lover who had disappeared for 2 years in the sky. Even if he thought it was Zhang Lexun, who was extremely strong, there were tears in his eyes. In 2 years, Jiang Ming disappeared for 2 full years. No trace left, no one knows whether he's alive or dead. In searching for Jiang Ming for more than a year, Zhang Lexun experienced the impact of hope and disappointment countless times. She searched most of the cities in the Xiandao Empire, but in the end she could only return disappointed. Now, 2 years later, he's finally back. In the air, Jiang Ming slowly landed his flying sword. He saw Zhang Lexuan, looking at that familiar and beautiful face, looking at the twinkling tears in those autumn-like eyes. Jiang Ming's heart felt like being pricked by needles. Same. After awakening the golden heart martial spirit, he had never felt this way before. He wanted to go down immediately and hug Sister Li Juan into his arms, but there was a bit of timidity in his heart. The further he went down, the stronger the timidity became, but the 2 years of accumulation in his heart made him feel timid. However, his emotions were constantly impacting like a ferocious soul beast, making him want to hug the person in front of him tightly into his arms. Finally, the flying sword fell, and the two looked at each other from a distance of several meters. Both of them could clearly see each other's figure in their eyes. Jiang Ming had thousands of words in his heart that he wanted to say, but when the words came to his lips, he could only spit out one sentence. "I'm back," just 4 words. It seemed that the emotions of the two people were instantly triggered. Zhang Lexuan couldn't help it anymore. She took a few steps forward and stretched out her delicate hands to twist Jiang Ming's ears. "You still know how to come back." There was a hint of crying in Zhang Lexuan's voice, which made Jiang Ming's heart break. But what needs to be worried about most now is probably the ears. After Zhang Lexuan vented her emotions in the act of twisting her ears, Jiang Ming felt as if his ears were really about to be twisted off. "Hey Sister Li Juan, can you let go first? Your ears are really going to be twisted off." "Really?" Jiang Ming quickly bowed and begged for mercy. "Even if it is a diamond that is indestructible, my body can't withstand such a move." Fortunately, there was no one else around, otherwise it would be a bit embarrassing to be seen by others. "Let go? What if I let go and you disappear for another 2 years, Zhang?" Lexuan said forcefully, but she still put down most of the strength in her hand and let go. Jiang Ming's ears. When her emotions came up, she couldn't help herself at the moment of the outburst, but after calming down a little, Zhang Lexuan was still very gentle. "No way, absolutely not." When Jiang Ming heard this, he quickly made a promise. While rubbing his red ears, he looked at Zhang Lexuan. When he saw the tears hanging on Sister Li Juan's beautiful eyelashes, Jiang Ming slowly lowered his hand, rubbing his ears. Jiang Ming looked into Sister Lexuan's eyes, stretched out his hands, hugged Zhang Lexuan's slender waist, lowered his head slightly, touched the hair on Zhang Lexuan's forehead, and said softly, "Not anymore." After saying that, Jiang Ming directly lowered his head and kissed Sister Lexuan without giving her a chance to speak. Jiang Ming really doesn't know how to say nice love words. He has been in a relationship with Zhang Lexuan for so long, and he has said no more than 10 love words, maybe not even 5. But sometimes, one action or one look is worth thousands of love words. "Have you reached level 78 soul power?" In Sister Li Juan's small room, Jiang Ming sat on the sofa with his arms around Sister Li Juan, with a look in his eyes. Looking a little surprised. "You know, Sister Lexuan is 5 years older than Jiang Ming, and she is only 23 years old now. The 23-year-old 78th level soul saint is a rare talent in Shrek Academy. If there is an opportunity in the subsequent training, Zhang Lexuan may even become a title Douluo before the age of 30. A title Douluo who is less than 30 years old. What's the point? If you weren't trapped by a bottleneck, maybe your cultivation would have caught up with me." Zhang Lexuan is not proud of her own cultivation. She just doesn't have that kind of temperament. What's more, when it comes to talent and cultivation, Jiang Ming's talent is the strongest. He has been stuck at this bottleneck for 2 years. In 2 years, with Jiang Ming's previous training speed, he might already be impacting Contra now. "Well, my martial soul is quite special. With the elves helping me to practice together, my cultivation speed is 2 to 3 times that of ordinary soul masters. Without the help of the elves, my cultivation speed would be very low." "Not so fast." Jiang Ming smiled and brought Sister Li Juan's soft body close to him, resting his chin on Sister Li Juan's shoulder, gently sniffing the fragrance of Sister Li Juan's hair, closing his eyes slightly, feeling very peaceful in his heart. The two spent the entire afternoon in the small room. They hadn't seen each other for 2 years, but Jiang Ming and Zhang Lexuan didn't feel alienated in their hearts. On the contrary, they felt closer to each other. As evening approached, Jiang Ming and Zhang Lexuan were strolling on Poseidon Island, holding their hands tightly together with happy smiles on their faces. Suddenly, Zhang Lexuan seemed to have remembered something. She looked at Jiang Ming and said softly, I went to Qingshu City a few months ago and met Uncle Nai and Aunt Lan. Chapter 178 When will you get married? On Poseidon Island, the breeze carrying water vapor was blowing, and the light from the silver moon in the sky fell on Poseidon Lake, reflecting an identical silver moon in the lake. The scenery was beautiful, but Jiang Ming's heart was completely attracted by what Zhang Lexuan said. Have you met old Aunt Nailan? Jiang Ming opened his mouth slightly, with a surprised expression on his face. Zhang Lexuan winked playfully and nodded slightly. Yes, I couldn't find you before, so I thought you might have gone back. After asking the teachers at the college, I found out that your family is in Qingshu City, so I went there to look for you. However, I didn't find you there, but I had a good chat with Aunt Naishulan and the others. Hearing this, Jiang Ming's face showed concern and concern. Nervous look. Then Zhang Lexuan seemed to know what Jiang Ming wanted to say. She shook her head and said, I didn't tell them about your disappearance. I just talked to them about the things you did in the academy. They didn't seem to care at all. Surprised, hearing this, the worry on Jiang Ming's face quietly faded, and a smile appeared on his face. I was quite crazy when I was in Qingshu City. They have long been used to it. Zhang Lexuan nodded thoughtfully, and then continued, when I was in Qingshu City, I told Aunt Naishulan that I was your girlfriend. They were very satisfied with me and asked when we would get married. Jiang Ming froze again. In just a few minutes, Jiang Ming felt like his little heart was on a roller coaster, jumping up and down, a little intensely. Getting married, Jiang Ming's face showed a very complicated expression, including happiness, anxiety, and an indescribable feeling that could not be put into words. It's messy. Don't you want to marry me? Zhang Lexuan turned to look at Jiang Ming, her beautiful eyes looking directly into Jiang Ming's eyes, her eyes very gentle. Of course I do, but I'm not ready yet. Jiang Ming quickly expressed his attitude, but marriage is not that simple, nor is it that simple. It's complicated, but it's just a little sudden and a little confusing. Seeing Jiang Ming's helpless look, Zhang Lexuan had a smile on her lips. She grabbed Jiang Ming's hand and said softly, I know you are not ready yet. In fact, I am not ready either. The moonlight fell on the two of them, bring a unique beauty, and the two hearts get closer and closer. After a night of silence, when Jiang Ming woke up, Zhang Lexuan was already busy with breakfast. Well, I was so relaxed when I came back that I overslept a little. The floor is indeed a bit hard. Jiang Ming stood up from the floor he had laid last night and moved his body, feeling a little sleepy. Originally, yesterday was a good opportunity to be co-sleeped, and it could even go one step further. It's a pity that Sister Lexuan doesn't give her a chance. Are you awake? Come and try if the breakfast I made is delicious. Zhang Lexuan wore an apron around her waist and was dressed in a simple home style, but her gentle temperament became more and more prominent. Wait a minute, wash up first. Jiang Ming yawned and went to wash up before sitting at the dining table, enjoying the leisurely time early in the morning. Well, it tastes good. Jiang Ming tasted the breakfast prepared by Sister Li Zhuan, and a light flashed in his eyes. This is not a boast, but it is really delicious. That's right, I have learned a lot from the teacher in charge of nutrition class in the inner courtyard during this period. Zhang Lexuan took off her apron and sat opposite Jiang Ming, very confidently said. Hearing this, Jiang Ming felt warm in his heart. He reached out and picked up a piece of breakfast and handed it to Sister Li Zhuan's mouth. Zhang Lexuan took a bite cooperatively, and then nodded with satisfaction. Then Jiang Ming stuffed Zhang Lexuan's breakfast into his mouth. Well, it tastes better. So boring. After breakfast, Jiang Ming did not continue to indulge in the gentle countryside. It was a long day yesterday and I have to do something serious today. Leaving the hut, Jiang Ming came to Yan Xiao's office. Hey, you have great concentration. I thought you were going to lie in the gentle countryside for several days like before. As soon as he entered the office, Yan Xiao's couldn't help but tease him about this little guy. Junior brother. Jiang Ming coughed twice to cover up his embarrassment. Then, he looked at Yan Xiao's and said in a deep voice, Senior brother, where's Ateo? I have found a way to completely eliminate her evil fire. Hearing this, Yan Xiao's, who was still flipping through the information on the table, was stunned for a moment. The next moment, he looked at Jiang Ming suddenly, his brows furrowed and his face extremely solemn. Xiaoming, are you sure? Jiang Ming nodded seriously. The coxcomb phoenix sunflower that was not a soul beast 10,000 years ago can purify Ma Hongjin's evil fire. Years later, a drop of essence from the coxcomb phoenix sunflower, which has 100,000 years of cultivation, will purify Ma Ateo's evil fire without any problem. Follow me. Seeing Jiang Ming nodding affirmatively, Yan Xiao's eyes narrowed, and he directly lifted Jiang Ming's shoulders and flew to a certain training place on Poseidon Island. In the place of cultivation, Ma Ateo was sitting cross-legged on the 1,000-year-old mysterious ice that had mostly disappeared. Her expression was a little painful. Her forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat, and the sweat beads ran down Ma Ateo's face. The cheeks slipped, but before they dripped from the chin, they were directly evaporated by the terrifying temperature. How could this happen? Jiang Ming frowned when he saw Ma Ateo like this. He helped Ma Ateo extradite most of the evil fire last time. Logically speaking, as long as Ma Ateo practices normally, he will not be troubled by the evil fire for a year or two. But looking at Ma Ateo's situation now, the 1,000-year-old black ice is almost melted away, and the evil fire is even more powerful than before. This is not normal. Looking at his disciple's pain, Yan Xiao sighed. In the past 2 years when you were missing, Xiao Tao was a little emotionally unstable while practicing. In addition, after you extradited most of the evil fire in Xiao Tao's body last time, she felt that she could practice with all her strength, Alice her martial soul. The more she practices, the faster the evil fire grows. In the current situation, I am afraid even the 1,000-year-old Zuanbing cannot suppress it. Hearing this, Jiang Ming's eyes narrowed, and he immediately stopped caring and stepped forward to wake up Ma Ateo. If she continues to practice in this state, the evil fire will make her more and more painful. However, as soon as Jiang Ming touched Ma Ateo, raging evil fire rushed out of her body, trying to engulf Jiang Ming. Seeing this, Jiang Ming didn't panic at all, and instantly merged with Xiao Bing in the sea of spirit. The breath of ultimate ice easily suppressed the evil fire gushing out of Ma Ateo's body. Immediately afterwards, Jiang Ming also sat on the 1,000-year-old black ice. He reached out and took out a drop of the essence of coxcomb and phoenix sunflower. At the same time, he stretched out his other hand and forcibly opened the possessed horse. Xiao Tao's mouth sent this drop of essence into it. There were 4 comments on the last chapter yesterday, so I will update 4 chapters today. Some friends have guessed, but they guessed wrong. As a penalty, you can give this book a few free recommendation votes. Of course, monthly tickets are a pity, so don't choose. In addition, thank you everyone for your monthly votes. You might as well guess how many chapters will be added tomorrow. Chapter 179, Purify the Martial Soul and Be Reborn from the Ashes. After feeding the essence of coxcomb phoenix sunflower to Ma Ateo, Jiang Ming raised Ma Ateo's hands and directly suppressed the evil fire in Ma Ateo's body with extreme ice. In the past, Jiang Ming's help in suppressing the evil fire for Ma Ateo was not particularly effective. He basically used Xiao Bing's ice attribute and his own soul power, which was more than 10 levels higher than Ma Ateo's, to suppress it. But now, Xiao Bing has the ultimate ice attribute, and his soul power is higher than Ma Ateo's, so it is easy to suppress Ma Ateo's evil fire. Of course, the most important thing now is not to suppress the evil fire in Ma Ateo's body, but to let the drop of the essence of coxcomb phoenix sunflower purify Ma Ateo's martial spirit. Only by purifying Ma Ateo's evil fire phoenix spirit once and filtering out the evil fire in it can she completely get rid of the trouble of evil fire, and even take this opportunity to achieve the ultimate sublimation of fire. Xiao Ateo, can Xiao Ateo hear you? It is difficult for Ma Ateo, who is in a possessed state, to control the absorption of the essence of coxcomb and phoenix sunflower. Her mind must be awakened. However, in Ma Ateo's current state, it is obvious that she cannot hear Jiang Ming's call. There is no other way, but Jiang Ming took a deep breath, and a cold light shot out from his ice blue eyes after merging with Xiao Bing. The coldness of the ultimate attribute directly suppressed Ma Ateo's restless spirit. Afterwards, Jiang Ming used his mental power and used an almost domineering attitude to shock Ma Ateo's mind from the depths of his soul. Ma Ateo is very strong and mentally strong, but in front of Jiang Ming, she is not good enough. Even in a state of obsession, Ma Ateo was instantly stimulated to wake up by this powerful mental power and extreme cold attributes. Xiao Tao, can you feel my breath, eh? Familiar voice rang in her ears, and Mazaya Ateo, who was dazed by the evil fire, responded subconsciously. Neng Neng, are you Jiang Ming? Are you back? A hint of joy clearly flashed across Mazaya Ateo's pale face, but soon her body began to tremble. The feeling of being suppressed by the ultimate ice attribute is no different than walking naked in the far north. It feels too cold. Cold, so cold, the frost spread on Mazaya Ateo's body, adding a bit of paleness to her already white skin. Xiao Tao, listen to me, immediately mobilize your soul power and stimulate the medicinal power of the coxcomb and phoenix sunflower essence I gave you. It can help you completely eliminate the evil fire, Jiang Ming. Without saying too much, Mazaya Ateo's situation is very dangerous now, and the medicinal power of the coxcomb phoenix sunflower essence must be stimulated in the shortest possible time to purify the evil fire. Otherwise, there would be evil fire erosion inside and extreme ice suppression outside. With Mazaya Ateo's current physical condition, it would be difficult to sustain it. Mazaya Ateo only felt that her spirit was in great pain. The heat of the evil fire and the extreme cold were constantly intertwined, making her extremely miserable. But after hearing Jiang Ming's words, Mazaya Ateo still managed to hold on to her mental exhaustion and began to control her soul power to stimulate the drop of energy that appeared in her body at some unknown time. It was a ball of phoenix-shaped energy. Even if the situation inside Mazaya Ateo was very chaotic, neither the evil fire nor the cold could invade it. Looking at the ball of phoenix energy, Mazaya Ateo did not hesitate and directly used her soul power to attack it. And when Mazaya Ateo's soul power impacted the phoenix energy actually turned into a fire phoenix. The fire phoenix suddenly spread its wings and washed through Mazaya Ateo's blood, meridians, bones, and internal organs at an extremely fast speed. Wherever it passed, all the evil fire was annihilated, and even the soul power was washed once and became purer. After noticing this change, the solemn expression on Jiang Ming's face relaxed slightly. The medicinal power of coxcomb phoenix sunflower has been activated, and then Mazaya Ateo will not have to worry about the problem of evil fire. The power of the fairy grass will wash away all the evil fire in Mazaya Ateo's body and purify her martial soul once. Jiang Ming slowly put down the hands that were holding Mazaya Ateo, and released the combination with Xiao Bing. The extremely cold breath gradually faded from the air, and traces of warmth continued to radiate from Mazaya Ateo's body. Xiao Ming, how is the situation? Yan Xiaos, who had been watching from the side, asked worriedly. It's okay. Once the energy of coxcomb phoenix sunflower is washed through Mazaya Ateo's body, her evil fire will completely disappear. From now on, she will be the fire phoenix spirit, Jiang Ming said with a smile. Hearing this, Yan Xiaos breathed a sigh of relief, and the solemn look on his face suddenly turned into joy. But Jiang Ming looked at Mazaya Ateo and said suddenly. But what? Yan Xiaos's heart suddenly rose again. Jiang Ming looked at Mazaya Ateo, sensed the aura in her body, and said with some uncertainty, although Mazaya Ateo's martial spirit will turn into a pure fire phoenix, can it be achieved? The level of ultimate fire is a bit confusing. This does not mean that the fire phoenix must have the ultimate fire attribute. Just like Yan Xiaos, the bright phoenix spirit is not the ultimate light. Even Mr. Mu's holy dragon of light spirit does not have the ultimate light attribute. No, we have to look at the situation. Maybe we can help. Jiang Ming frowned, communicated with Xiaolian in the Sea of Spirits, and prepared to merge. Yan Xiaos on the side immediately felt relieved when he heard what Jiang Ming was talking about. He thought it was some kind of accident, but it turned out to be this. For Yan Xiaos, he is still most concerned about the life safety of this disciple. It is best to achieve the ultimate fire. If not, the fire phoenix is still the top east martial spirit. Then I'll go back first, and you look at Mazaya Ateo. Yan Xiaos took a look at Mazaya Ateo's condition and found that it was indeed getting better, so he planned to go back to work. The situation has stabilized and he can't be of much help here. After Yan Xiaos left, Mazaya Ateo's martial soul purification progressed quickly. On the 1,000-year black ice, 6 soul rings rose under Mazaya Ateo's feet. 2 yellow, 2 purple and 2 black. She is already a soul emperor. The 17-year-old soul emperor is terrifying. Behind her, a huge shadow of a fire phoenix appeared in the void. This is her martial spirit, the evil fire phoenix. Although this phoenix shadow was powerful in the past, The flames it bloomed were not pure and were surrounded by evil fire. And now, it has turned into pure fire phoenix. However, Jiang Ming's brows were still furrowed when he saw this scene. It seems, it's not enough. The next moment, Jiang Ming's hair grew longer and the color turned fiery red, and the lines on his face changed from sharp edges like a knife. It must be a little soft, but the domineering in the red pupils is more powerful. The red lotus seals the soul, rebirth from the fire. Go, Jiang. Ming's eyes condensed, and a huge red fire lotus bloomed from his fingertips. The ultimate flame lotus enveloped Ma Xiaotao and the people behind her. The phoenix shadow began to smelt. Chapter 180 The idea of an 8th level melee soul guide. Having already purified the martial soul, it would be a pity not to reach the ultimate fire. Fortunately, Xiaolian has a skill that can help Ma Xiaotao. Under the smelting of the ultimate fire, Ma Xiaotao's martial soul will inspire the true power of the fire phoenix, thus possessing the ultimate fire attribute. Looking at the red lotus transformed by the ultimate fire in front of him, Jiang Ming's face was very solemn. The process of purifying the martial soul is a relatively easy process. By removing the evil fire, Ma Xiaotao will not feel any pain, but will feel comfortable. But the process of smelting martial souls is a long and painful process. Of course, after the smelting is successful, Ma Xiaotao will gain huge benefits. Time passed little by little. Jiang Ming did not dare to be distracted, and just stayed here. Xiaolian said that there will be no accidents in the process of smelting martial souls, but after all, it is a relatively dangerous matter. If an accident occurs, Ma Xiaotao will be in big trouble. He must maintain mental concentration. If an accident occurs, he must stop immediately. Time passed little by little, and from time to time, the sound of phoenixes came from the closed red lotus, as well as Ma Xiaotao's painful moans. But from a stability perspective, everything went well. Finally, when the moans in the red lotus disappeared and Jiang Ming sensed the power of another ultimate fire rising in the red lotus, everything was a foregone conclusion. Successful. Jiang Ming breathed a sigh of relief, and then seemed to remember something, and quickly dissolved the combination with Xiaolian. Xiaolian, help her put on her clothes later. After saying that, Jiang Ming went outside as the red lotus slowly dissipated. He still remembered the lesson learned last time. Ma Xiaotao's clothes were definitely not able to withstand the red lotus melted by the ultimate fire. Fortunately, before smelting Ma Xiaotao, Jiang Ming had already put aside the storage soul guide on her body. If Ma Xiaotao is sober, she can change it herself. If she is mentally exhausted and falls into coma, let Xiaolian help her change it. Xiaolian watched the red lotus slowly dissipate, and a powerful shadow of the fire phoenix emerged. The ultimate phoenix fire was burning, the light was distorted, and the temperature of the space rose sharply. Under the shadow of the fire phoenix, a figure covered half of the body by fiery red hair was revealed. The 1,000-year black ice below has completely vaporized and disappeared. Under the power of the two extreme fires, the 1,000-year black ice can only be completely melted. With a slight groan, Ma Xiaotao opened her eyes very tiredly. Can you dress yourself, Xiao? Lian looked at Ma Xiaotao's proud figure under her long red hair and asked softly. Are you Xiaolian, Ma? Xiaotao was a little confused at first, but she quickly recognized it. But the next moment, Ma Xiaotao seemed to have thought of something and immediately blocked the key parts with both hands. Xiaolian is here, then Jiang Ming, there are only two of us here, the master is outside. Seeing Ma Xiaotao like this, Xiaolian explained with a smile. Then, she handed Ma Xiaotao's storage soul guide to Ma Xiaotao. Since you're awake, let's change your clothes. At this time, Jiang Ming was sitting in an open space not far from the training place, holding a book about melee soul guides. Before, he had a melee soul guide, which was a level 6 soul guide knife. Unfortunately, when entering the eye of ice and fire, the knife fell into the green-scaled 7 Ju flowers. When he remembered to pick it up, the level 6 soul tool had been corroded by the poisonous mist. I can only say that the green-scale poisonous mist is really poisonous. After returning, Jiang Ming actually had plans to get a new melee soul tool. This time, he plans to change his gun. Moreover, Jiang Ming directly set the level of this soul tool at level 8. Yes, level 8. He is almost a 7th level soul guide now, but with his current strength, the 7th level melee soul guide should soon be unable to keep up. After all, When he completes the 100,000-year evolution of all elves, his cultivation will usher in a period of explosive growth, level 7, and he will be eliminated too quickly. It's hard to find materials for level 8. Jiang Ming looked at the information in his hand and felt a little headache. The 8th level soul guide is already a very powerful existence among soul guides. Let's not talk about the technical difficulty of making an 8th level melee soul guide. The material problem alone is very troublesome. Maybe I really want to go to the Sun and Moon Empire. But he just came back and he promised Sister Lexuno. While Jiang Ming was thinking wildly, Mazaya Ateo had already dressed and came out of the training ground. Seeing the familiar figure not far away, a smile suddenly appeared on Mazaya Ateo's face. She walked slowly to Jiang Ming's side and whispered, "Are you back?" Jiang Ming glanced at Mazaya Ateo in surprise. Yes, it was somewhat inconsistent with the fiery-tempered Mazaya Ateo in his impression. Could it be that the smelting of the ultimate fire had softened her temperament? Obviously. How are you doing? Are you feeling uncomfortable, Jiang? Ming put away the information and looked at Mazaya Ateo up and down. How should I put it? After the evil fire disappeared, Mazaya Ateo's whole temperament did change a lot. Her skin even became whiter, her appearance was better, and her figure was better. But it's worse than Sister Lexuan. I feel that my body is more relaxed than ever before. There is no evil fire, and my flame has turned into the ultimate fire. Thank you, Ma. Zaya Ateo knows that this is all Jiang Ming's help. Whether it's the phoenix-shaped energy or the smelting martial soul behind it, this must be extremely precious. Thinking of this, Mazaya Ateo looked at Jiang Ming with gratitude in her eyes. However, besides gratitude, Jiang Ming seemed to feel some other emotions inside. He immediately said, "Why are you talking about this? Your master is my senior brother, and I am your senior uncle. Besides, you still owe me a lot of money. The piece of 1,000-year-old black ice is gone, and there are tens of thousands of gold soul coins, which I have recorded for you. The talent is better, I can make more money to pay off my debts in the future." As he said that, Jiang Ming took out the account book and waved it in front of Mazaya Ateo's eyes. After doing this, Mazaya Ateo suddenly became very angry. "You have lost sight of money. Pay it back to my uncle. You die for me, Jiang." Ming did not expect that after Mazaya Ateo's flames evolved to the ultimate fire, she would be the first to burn. It turned out to be me. This is really, the world is getting worse, the world is getting worse. Mazaya Ateo's martial soul has been purified and possesses the ultimate fire, but obviously, she is not Jiang Ming's opponent yet. In just 3 rounds, Mazaya Ateo was completely defeated. Jiang Ming used his familiar grappling skills to buckle Mazaya Ateo up again, just like when he first saw Mazaya Ateo. "Small, fight me, you don't have the strength." Jiang Ming smiled arrogantly and then let go of his hand. Unexpectedly, Mazaya Ateo, a girl with no martial ethics, turned over and grabbed Jiang Ming's neck with both hands the moment Jiang Ming let go. In the blink of an eye, the two were face to face, so close that they could feel each other's breathing. Chapter 181. Big Devil, I love you. Jiang Ming left this place of cultivation as if fleeing, and the figure leaving the sword looked very embarrassed. Mazaya Ateo, who stayed where she was, looked at Jiang Ming's leaving figure, with a little resentment in her beautiful eyes, but more of a light of determination. "HMPH, it's just a kiss on the face, it makes you look like I'm going to eat you." Mazaya Ateo pouted and flew towards Master Yan Xiao's office. Period. At this time, Jiang Ming was flying in the sky with his sword, and his mind was a little confused. He really didn't expect that Mazaya Ateo would do something like this. This was too sudden. How should he explain it to Sister Lexuan? Exclamation mark. No, Sister Lexuan doesn't seem to know either. No, this the left brain beats the right brain. After a brainstorm for a while, Jiang Ming calmed down. Finally, he let out a long sigh, put the complicated thoughts behind, and flew towards the outer courtyard. "This boy Gonggyang Mo has gone to do a mission, and I will give you the petals of Kilo Tulip when he comes back." Originally, he thought that after dealing with the evil fire for Mazaya Ateo, he would go back to see Sister Lexuan for advice, but now, for some reason, he was a little afraid to see Sister Lexuan. A very strange feeling. Forget it, let's go to the Soul Guidance Department to find Teacher Fan Yu and Vice Dean Jin Duoduo. We need to ask them for advice on making the 8th level melee soul guidance device, Jiang Ming thought in his mind and flew towards the soul guidance system. After the past 2 years of development, The soul guidance system has undergone great changes. At least, there are more and more students in the soul guidance department. Perhaps one or two of these students can become innovators of soul tools. The addition of new blood is a strong foundation for the development of the soul guidance system. In the office of the Dean of the Soul Tool Department, Jiang Ming told the two deans of the Soul Tool Department and teacher Fan Yu his thoughts. After listening, the three of them fell into thinking. Currently, there is no 9th-level Soul Master in the Soul Guidance Department of Shrek Academy. In other words, the 8th-level Soul Guidance device is the limit that the Soul Guidance system can produce. Compared with other types of Soul Guides, melee Soul Guides require more attention and are more troublesome to make. Jiang Ming, you want to make an 8th-level melee Soul Guide, isn't it a bit too much? You are only at the 6th level now, Fan. Yu frowned, looked at Jiang Ming, and said in a deep voice. In his opinion, Jiang Ming's current cultivation level, even if his martial soul is the heart of gold and has extremely strong melee combat ability, the Soul Emperor's cultivation level is enough to use a 7th-level Soul Guide. Going to level 8 is somewhat exaggerated. Jiang Ming shook his head and said, Teacher Fan Yu, if you don't surpass, level 6 is no longer enough, and level 7 will soon be unable to keep up. It is best to stay at level 8. He knows his own situation well. With his current strength, to be honest, if the upper limit of the soul guidance system is not currently 8, he would even want to be at level 9. Upon hearing this, the three of them were stunned, and then looked at Jiang Ming with a hint of horror in their eyes. They know Jiang Ming, and Jiang Ming is not a big talker. Isn't it just an 8th-level melee soul guide? Let's do it. Xianliner made the decision directly and domineeringly. Jin Duoduo looked at his wife with helplessness written on his face. It's easy for you to say, how can an 8th-level melee soul guide be so easy to get? However, now that his wife has made a decision, he can't say anything else. Jin Duoduo and Fan Yu looked at each other, then looked at Jiang Ming. Jiang Ming, what level of Soul Master have you reached now? Jiang Ming stretched out his finger and made a 7 sign. It should be a 7th-level Soul Engineer, but he lacks some experience in making 7th-level Soul Guides, so he may not be considered a qualified one. Hearing this, Jin Duoduo waved his hand. It's okay. Let Fan Yu lead you to make a few level 7 Soul Guides and you will gain experience. Fan Yu, who was standing aside, couldn't help but roll his eyes. Hey guys, the Vice Dean is squeezing teachers' labor force, right? However, Fan Yu was very happy. After all, Jiang Ming was brought out by him. Seeing that when they met, he was just a 4th-level Soul Master who went astray, but now he is a disciple of a 7th-level Soul Master. Fan Yu was really filled with emotion. In the following time, Jiang Ming seemed to have returned to his old days, following Fan Yu in the Soul Guidance Department to make some 7th-level Soul Guidance tools. During the production period, Zhang Lexun often visited the team and fed Fan Yu a few waves of dog food from time to time. Fan Yu is so angry. Are you the only one who has a little girlfriend? I still have a wife. The time for making soul guides passed very quickly. After a month or two, Jiang Ming made several 7th-level soul guides, and by the way, he also got a 7th-level soul mentor badge. Guangyangmo, who was out on a mission, finally returned to the academy. Coming back with him were Dai Yaohen, Ling Luchan and the others. Most of the tasks of the Shrek supervisory team are relatively dangerous tasks, especially Guangyangmo is still an auxiliary soul master, so collective action is safer. Big Devil, you are finally back. I thought I would never see you again. As soon as we met, Guangyangmo used his sissy voice and wanted to give Jiang Ming a big hug. This disgusted Jiang Ming, and he almost kicked him away. You have become stronger. Dai Yuheng has now reached the level of Soul Emperor, but he instinctively feels that the gap between himself and Jiang Ming is getting bigger and bigger. Even though he had decided not to compete with this pervert very early on, the gap in his heart was real. You're not bad, you're almost 6 rings. Come on, try to break through the 7th ring before the competition. Jiang Ming patted Dai Yuheng's shoulder and gave this former my roommate cheered me up. 7 rings, Dai? Yao Heng's mouth twitched. There are only a little more than 2 years left before the competition. He is only 5 rings now, although his soul power is already 59 level, but I don't know how long it will take to break through the bottleneck of level 60. The 7th ring road is so stressful. Don't have confidence? It's okay. I'll help you later, he said that. Jiang Ming took Dai Yuheng, Gonggang, Molding Glujin, Chen Zifan, Zixi, Yao Heoxun and other elders. The friend took him to an open space on Poseidon Island. The first thing is to give the petals of Kilo Tulip to Gongayangmo, and then let Xiaoling release a skill. The rhythm of life. Now that the little spirit has completed 100,000 years of evolution, its ability is very powerful. Once the 100,000-year soul skill is released, coupled with the little spirit's current ultimate life attribute, the infinite vitality directly mobilizes the physical vitality of several people and improves their status. Arrived at the best. Under the impact of this vitality, Dai Yuhang directly broke through the bottleneck of level 60. Others also increased their soul power by 2 or even 3 levels in this miracle that was like a blessing from nature. Of course, this skill only works for the first time, otherwise it would be really outrageous. Among these people, the one who has gained the most is not Dai Yaohen, nor Ling Luochen whose soul power has been improved by 3 levels, but Gongayang Mo. Big Devil, I love you, Gongayang. Mo almost flew to Jiang Ming, but fortunately Jiang Ming stopped him with a look of disgust. But Gongayang Mo was not angry at all, and even said more excitedly, Great Demon King, I am level 59. I am level 59. I have improved a lot. Level 6, Chapter 182. A surprise for the whole continent. As soon as these words came out, the smiles on the faces of the other people whose soul power had been raised by 2 or 3 levels froze instantly. You know, Gong Yangmo's soul power cultivation level was only level 53 just now. In just such a short period of time, he was directly promoted by 6 levels to level 59. Gan. Everyone was immersed in this shock, but Jiang Ming was only slightly surprised. After all, Kilo Tulip, who was not a 100,000-year-old soul beast 10,000 years ago, was able to increase Ningrongrong's soul power by so many levels. Now Kilo Tulip is already 100,000-year-old, and she is given petals. But the medicinal power contained in it is much stronger than the one Ningrongrong took originally. The entire medicinal power of ginseng of more than 10 years is not as good as a strand of roots from the 1,000-year-old ginseng king. That is a qualitative change. It's level 59. Well, not bad. Let's work harder before the competition and break through to level 70, Jiang Ming stretched out his hand to press Gongayang Mo's forehead to prevent it. This guy jumped on himself. Hearing this, Gong Yangmo's excited movement suddenly stopped, and his face showed the same twitch as Dai Yuhang just now. He is level 59, not level 69. Training as an auxiliary soul master is inherently difficult. Breaking through level 70 in 2 years is a joke. Don't look so grim and look at the changes in your martial spirit, Jiang Ming reminded. Kilo Tulip was able to evolve Ningrongrong's 7 treasures glazed pagoda into 9 treasures glazed pagoda, so Gong Yangmo's rainbow dragon should also be able to evolve. Hearing Jiang Ming's words, Gong Yangmo was stunned, and then subconsciously released his martial spirit. It doesn't matter what he saw, Gong Yangmo was stunned. Is this still his martial spirit? Exclamation mark. His rainbow dragon spirit was originally colorful, and each additional spirit ring would increase the color of the rainbow. This also means that it will be difficult for his martial soul to continue practicing after the 7th ring. But now, in addition to the previous 7 colors, his rainbow dragon spirit has black and white colors. The 2 additional colors make the already gorgeous rainbow dragon even more gorgeous, and even the aura and pressure of the rainbow dragon clan become more powerful. Well, there are 9 colors now. It shouldn't be called rainbow dragon, right? Wouldn't it be more appropriate to call it 9-color dragon? Jiang Ming looked at the dragon surrounded by 9 colors. Rainbow dragon said with a chuckle. Big Demon King, Gonggang. Mo rushed over again, so fast that Jiang Ming almost didn't stop him. The Great Demon King is so kind and virtuous that I can only promise him with my body, Gonggang. Mo hugged Jiang Ming's thigh and felt like he was dying of excitement. Jiang Ming raised his feet and struggled for a while. With his current physical strength, he actually didn't struggle out. Go away. You are a grown man and you have given me your life. Don't disgust me. Hey, don't rub your snot on my pants. Guangayang Mo refused to give up, and remained the same. He hugged Jiang Ming's thigh tightly, as if he would not let go until he died. You are, at? This time, Zhang Lexun's voice suddenly sounded, attracting everyone's attention. Sister Lexun, please help me pull this guy away. He is a man who wants to commit himself to me. It is so disgusting, Jiang Ming. He quickly asked his girlfriend for help. When Zhang Lexun heard this, She frowned and gave Gong Yangmo a cold look. Let go. As soon as Zhang Lexuan spoke, her cold eyes instantly frightened Gong Yangmo. Zhang Lexuan's reputation as the eldest sister of the inner courtyard is not something to be overshadowed. During the last competition, Zhang Lexuan led them to eliminate their opponents like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. That powerful aura immediately conquered several of them. Gong Yangmo obediently let go of the hand holding Jiang Ming's thigh, but then went to look at the 2 extra colors of his martial soul with excitement on his face. 9-colored dragon, this is a good name, domineering. From now on, his martial spirit will be called the 9-color dragon. Did you ask Xiao Ling to use that skill on them? Zhang Lexuan saw that each of them had a significant increase in soul power. A few people who had not yet had time to stabilize their cultivation directly guessed what Jiang Ming did. Well, the competition will start in 2 years, and it will give the entire continent a surprise. Jiang Ming smiled and stepped forward to hug Zhang Lexuan's slender waist, feeling the wonderful taste of feeding others dog food. Zhang Lexuan knew Xiao Ling's skills. He used them on Zhang Lexuan when she was tired in the first few days after returning. Unfortunately, he only improved her soul power by 1 level. It is still difficult to improve the soul power of the Soul Saint level, and after reaching level 79, it will be level 80. The bottleneck is there and it is difficult to break through. What kind of surprise are you planning to make? Zhang Lexuan turned to look at Jiang Ming. Her long hair moved slightly, bringing with it a wisp of fragrance. Jiang Ming chuckled and looked at the people in front of him. You will definitely be the selected team members for the next competition. I made a rough estimate and Xiao Tao will definitely be able to reach the Soul Saint cultivation level before then. Old Dai, if you are now level 60, it shouldn't be a big problem to reach level 70. In 2 years Luochun's progress is a bit slow. Even with the assistance of Ice Silkworm Magic Crystal and Ice Marrow, he wants to reach level 7. It's impossible to get a ring. Just set it to level 65. As for Lao Chen, Zixi and Yao Haoxun, it's almost the same. 6 rings will definitely want them. Oh, yes, and Gong Yangmo, stop staring at your martial spirit. Your goal is also the 7th ring. After Jiang Ming said this long paragraph, the people who were named suddenly felt like a big mountain was pressing on their heads. No, Big Devil, I am a support system. Soul Master, I'm only level 59. 7 rings? You can kill me. Gong Yangmo had a sad face, indicating that this goal is too stressful. Kill you? That's not too easy for you. You can't do it, can you? I'll find someone who knows how to make alchemy later and make what you just ate. Jiang Ming looked serious said. Gong Yangmo's expression changed instantly, and he quickly said, 7 rings. It's not impossible. Well, it's okay if you can. Who else thinks that I can't do it? Can do it? Jiang Ming looked at the others with a friendly and kind smile on his face. I can. Dai Yaohang gritted his teeth and said firmly. I can do it too. The expression on Ling Luochun's face did not change, and his tone was cold. Chen Zifeng and Zixi looked at each other. Even after experiencing Jiang Ming's hell-week training and the recent rhythm of life, their current soul power has only reached level 53. Upgraded to the 6th ring in 2 years. The difficulty is still less than the 7th ring of Gong Yangmo and Dai Yaohen. I can do it too. Hey, why do you just? Yao Haoxun wanted to struggle again, but seeing that everyone was fine, he could only grit his teeth. I can do it too. Hearing that everyone said it was okay, Jiang Ming nodded with satisfaction. Everyone, go ahead and practice. Oh wait, I forgot something. As he said that, Jiang Ming's eyes flashed with golden light, 1 yellow, 2 purple, 1 black and 1 red. 5 soul rings rose from beneath his feet. I'm so obsessed with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Before anyone could react, the red soul ring on Jiang Ming's body lit up. Let me help you unblock the 8 extraordinary meridians. This is a top massage, enjoy it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183. Let's set off separately. Kiran Tong Xianzhou provided Jiang Ming with a total of 4 soul skills, 2 soul ring skills, and 2 soul bone skills. And what Jiang Ming is using now is one of the Qirong Bianju soul ring skills. This skill is called the Power of Heaven. Sounds awesome, right? But actually this skill is an auxiliary skill. Using this skill, Jiang Ming can use the magical velvet Tong Xianzhi that is fused with his own martial soul to use the power of the fairy grass to clear the meridians of others. Of course, you can only access the 8 extraordinary meridians, and you cannot directly help others become indestructible. Otherwise, it would be too outrageous. But even if it can only clear the 8 extraordinary meridians, it is enough to greatly improve their physical strength. However, this process is still a bit painful for Douluo. After all, it is not directly taking Xianke Dibao, but stimulating and unblocking through the conduction of soul power. If you want to describe it specifically, it's probably 10 times as hard as a 200-pound man giving you a massage. Ordinary people may not be able to bear it, but soul masters are different. They are strong and can resist. After a massage, the 6 of them felt that their bones were all soft, and they were stunned that they could not use any strength. Just take it easy for a while. You can practice here first. After saying that, Jiang Ming took Zhang Lexun away. Sister Lexun, did you want to tell me something just now? Jiang Ming looked at Sister Li Zhuan beside him and said softly. Zhang Lexun nodded and said, you didn't participate in the last competition. This time, according to your plan, 7 of them will be the main players. What about you? You don't want to go? She didn't say anything in front of Dai Yuheng and others, but now they are alone, she wants to ask, does Jiang Ming really not want to go to the competition with his plan? That is the continent's elite competition for high-level soul masters. It is a competition that has been passed down in Douluo continent for almost tens of thousands of years. I regretted missing it last time, so why not go this time? You know, Jiang Ming only has this chance to compete. Hearing what Sister Li Zhuan said, Jiang Ming was stunned, then chuckled and said, Sister Li Zhuan, don't worry about this. If there's a chance, I will go. A few days later, in the advanced laboratory of the Soul Guidance Department, Jiang Ming was completing the production of a level 7 custom-made Soul Guidance Cannon. When he completed the carving of the last magic circle and successfully completed the 7th level fixed soul-guided cannonball, and wanted to go out for a breath of air, Vice Dean Jin Douluo came to find him. Xiaoming, come here. Jiang Ming didn't know what Vice President Jin Douluo was looking for, so he quickly followed him. Before Jiang Ming could ask, Jin Douluo said, Xiaoming, the wind attribute energy you want, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song, have been found for you. Mr. Zhuan is waiting at the gate of the college. You, get ready and go quickly. Hearing this, Jiang Ming was stunned for a moment, and then a big smile appeared on his face. Okay, I'll go right away. He has nothing to prepare. The dry food, clothes, ingredients and equipment are all in the storage soul guide, so he can just leave. But just 2 steps out, Jiang Ming stopped, turned around and flew towards Poseidon Island with his sword. Jin Douluo looked at this scene, a smile flashed across his old face. Young people are just lingering, on Poseidon Island, in Zhang Lexun's cabin. Jiang Ming told Sister Lexun the situation. He may need to leave for a few months this time and needs to report it to his girlfriend. With Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song here, there will definitely be no problem. You can go. It just so happens that I also accepted a mission from the supervision team and will be away for a month. Here. Jiang Ming went with Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song, and Zhang Lexun immediately felt relieved. With these 2 old men here, the possibility of Jiang Ming having an accident is almost zero. Are you going to perform the task of the inspection team? Jiang Ming was a little surprised. This was the first time he saw Zhang Lexun performing a task. If that's the case, then I'll give this to you. I originally wanted to give it to you on the anniversary sometime later, Jiang Ming muttered, and retrieved the soul guide from the storage soul guide. He took out a necklace. It looked like a gemstone necklace, but the white gemstone inlaid with it had a faint metallic light. This is a 7th level defensive soul tool I made. I named it the Silver Moon Guard. At full soul power, it can withstand 10 attacks from a soul saint level soul master, and it can withstand 1 attack from a soul Douluo soul master. Attack with all your strength, it will protect you from me. Be careful when performing tasks, and you must put your own safety first, understand? Jiang Ming said, holding the necklace to Zhang Lexun. Bring it. Well, Sister Lexun looks really good when she wears it. Zhang Lexun looked at her boyfriend who was 5 years younger than her, with a happy smile on her beautiful face. His eyes were filled with Jiang Ming's reflection. You're still talking about me. I have much more experience in carrying out the tasks of the supervision team than you. She spoke. Zhang Lexun stretched out a finger and poked Jiang Ming's forehead. Also from the storage room he took out a small box from the soul guide. It also looks like a necklace inside, but it is not a gemstone necklace. Instead, it looks like a pocket watch. Jiang Ming opened it and found a photo of him and sister Li Zhuan inside. The two of them stood in front of the hut on Poseidon Island, stretching out their arms to make a love gesture above their heads, with happy smiles on their faces. Do you like it, Zhang? Lexun looked at Jiang Ming expectantly. This was a gift she had thought about for a long time. I like it. Jiang Ming put away his pocket watch, hugged Zhang Lexun and kissed her. Master, if you kiss me anymore, it will get dark, Xia Feng reminded in Jiang Ming's mental space. Of course, this is a bit exaggerated, but the soul master can hold his breath for a long time due to his physical condition. After a long time, the lips parted. Then I'm leaving, Jiang Ming reluctantly let go of his hand. Zhang Lexun nodded, and the two of them left. At the entrance of Shrek Academy, Mr. Zhuan looked into the distance again. This time, I finally saw Jiang Ming Yujian's figure in the distant sky. This kid is finally here. Lao Zhuan didn't say much, stepped directly into the void and came to Jiang Ming's side. Put away your flying sword, I will take you away. After saying that, Mr. Zhuan took out his flying soul guide and put one hand on Jiang Ming's on the shoulders. After a few seconds, the two of them disappeared into the horizon. The destination of this trip was obviously very far away. Even if Mr. Zhuan took him flying, it would take a full day. Jiang Ming calculated that in this time and at this speed, he may have flown half of the continent. At some point, Jiang Ming discovered that in the sky where they were flying, the wind was getting stronger and stronger, the clouds had lost their white color, and bursts of thunder were still ringing in their ears. After flying for a while against the strong wind and thunder, a very high mountain peak appeared in Jiang Ming's field of vision. The peak is so high that you can't even see the top of it when you look up. The top of the mountain seemed to have rushed into the clouds, with no end in sight. The clouds above our heads seemed to be only on the mountain side of this mountain. Roar, a sound like thunder came from above. The sound was filled with terrifying pressure, causing the wind and clouds to change instantly, and thunder falling like raindrops. Chapter 184, Not Even Close, A Weak Human? This guy is getting mad again. It seems he deserves a beating. Zhuan Lao listened to the terrifying roar and looked at the changing environment around him. His muddy old eyes narrowed. Squint, increase your speed a little more. However, this time, Mr. Zhuan did not fly forward with Jiang Ming, but flew up along the mountain in front of him with no peak in sight. The higher it flies, the more violent the surrounding wind becomes, and the higher the intensity and density of the thunder. There were several times when Jiang Ming felt like he couldn't escape, but he was shaken very quickly by Mr. Zhuan and managed to escape in an incredible way. Master, the density of wind and thunder power in this place is so high. Xia Feng's voice sounded in Jiang Ming's spiritual sea. As an elf with a wind attribute, Xia Feng has a strong understanding of wind. The perception of attributes is very high. Can I help you complete 100,000 years of evolution? When Jiang Ming heard Xia Feng say this, he felt happy. If you want Xia Feng to complete 100,000 years of evolution, the energy of the wind attribute must not be low. Even Xia Feng's cultivation has been cultivated for more than 90,000 years through the breath of some fairy grass and the energy of heaven and earth when he was in the ice and fire eyes. But 100,000 years of evolution still requires an absolutely strong enough wind attribute. Well, with this wind attribute concentration, it might be a little worse. Xia Feng, in the sea of spirit, bit his mouth and shook his head. Almost. Jiang Ming frowned and wanted to ask something else. Mr. Zhuan had already led him through the dark clouds and reached a higher sky. And here, Jiang Ming saw an extremely shocking scene. Under his feet were clouds. There were still clouds above his head. And between the two clouds, there were fierce winds and thunder. At a glance, it looked like a place of divine punishment. He saw the top of the mountain, but the top of the mountain was only a little away from the clouds above his head. From Jiang Ming's perspective, the top of the mountain is almost touching the clouds above. Thankfully there's this mountain peak and the falling thunder, otherwise Jiang Ming would not be able to tell the up and down direction in the almost equally thick clouds. Boy, isn't it spectacular, Mr. Zhuan looked at the distant mountain peaks and said with a smile. This is so spectacular, If the Eye of Ice and Fire is the most beautiful fairyland Jiang Ming has ever seen, then this is the corresponding purgatory on earth. But something strange is that while Wonderland is below, purgatory is above. Yes, it's very spectacular. Only in this environment can such a strange beast as the Wind and Thunder Prison Beast be born. Mr. Zhuan sighed, then grabbed Jiang Ming and flew to the top of the mountain. The thunder-suppressing prison beast they are looking for is on the top of this cliff. The top of the mountain is not a small peak as Jiang Ming imagined. Instead, there is a large platform that looks like several hundred square meters. The platform is full of traces of gangfang and thunder attacks, with pits and scorch marks. Deeper on the platform is a cave, which is somewhat eerie in the dim environment. Roar. As soon as he settled on the top of the mountain, the roar sounded again, and thunder fell from the clouds above, leaving a mark at Jiang Ming's feet. As the thunder struck down, a huge figure walked out of the gloomy cave. It is about 10 meters long and more than 3 meters high. It has thick limbs with sharp claws, a head like a fierce tiger, a body like a dragon, and a pair of huge wings of different colors. It looks very vicious. Is this the Wind and Thunder Prison Beast? Jiang Ming's eyes were full of surprise. He has never seen such a strange-looking soul beast, as if it combines the characteristics of multiple soul beasts into one. Yes, this is the Wind and Thunder Prison Beast. This guy has been practicing for more than 100,000 years. With the blessing of the dual attributes of wind and thunder, his strength is terrifying. Lao Zhuan introduced. Xiaoming, let yourself come out and see if it works here. If not, Mr. Song will be back soon. I heard she found a very good treasure. Jiang Ming nodded and let Xiaofang come out of the spiritual sea. As soon as Xiaofang came out, the Wind and Thunder Prison Beast roared loudly. The sound was as loud as thunder, which scared Xiaofang. Why are you roaring? You deserve a beating again, right, Mr. Sweeping towards the Fangling Prison Beast. At the same time, Mr. Zhuan appeared in front of the Fangling Prison Beast as if teleporting, and used the most primitive violent method to instill the education of love into the Fangling Prison Beast. Ho! Human, you bullied me too much, who? Try hitting me again, who? Stop hitting me, it's just that within a few minutes, under the strong pressure of Mr. Zhuan, who was at full fire, the roar of the Wind and Thunder suppressing prison beast stopped. Can't beat it at all. 100,000 years of cultivation, so what if he has the dual attributes of wind and thunder? In front of Mr. Zhuan, who has a cultivation level of 98, he can't beat him at all. Be honest, Mr. the Prison Beast of Fangli Town was lying on the ground, not daring to move. In the past 2 years, it has tried to ignore death, but unfortunately, it still lacks the courage. And every time you resist unwillingly, you will only be taught more lovingly by Mr. Zhuan. On the other side, after Xiaofang came out, he began to feel the wind energy here. Master, the wind attribute energy here can sustain my energy needs for 100,000 years of evolution, but to start 100,000 years of evolution, I still need a stronger wind attribute treasure. Jiang Ming's eyes narrowed, and then he thought that Mr. Zhuan said that Mr. Song had found a wind attribute treasure, so he asked Xiaofang to adjust his state and prepare to wait for Mr. Song to come over. As for himself, he came to the side of Fangli Prison Beast, stretched out his hand and touched its tiger head curiously. Don't mention it, it feels pretty good. Weak humans, you are looking for death, as 100,000-year-old soul beast, it has dignity. Even if the old guy sitting on top of his head couldn't beat him, the guy in front of him who looked like he was just a cub actually dared to touch its head. Scholars can endure it, but who can't? Weak humans. When Jiang Ming heard this, instead of being angry, he laughed. He looked up at Mr. Zhuan, who was sitting on the head of the Fangli suppressing prison beast, and said softly, Old Zhuan, can I have a fight with it? Mr. Zhuan, who was chewing on chicken legs, was stunned, then frowned and said, Xiaoming, this guy's strength is close to the level of a ferocious beast. Do you want to fight him, Jiang Ming ordered. He nodded and said, well, let's give it a try. Anyway, Mr. Zhuan is with you. Besides, you forgot, I still have elves. The old frown relaxed. If Jiang Ming only relied on his first martial soul, even if his first martial soul had 100,000-year soul ring, Mr. Zhuan would never think that Jiang Ming could fight against this wind and thunder prison beast. Level 69. But if the elves take action, 3 elves that are 100,000 years old and have extreme attributes can indeed fight against this wind and thunder prison beast. and maybe even defeat it. I originally planned to update 5 chapters, but when I saw that the monthly ticket financier guessed 6 chapters, I just did 6 chapters. Thank you all for your monthly votes and recommendation votes. Everyone, guess tomorrow. It's better not to guess. This intensity is too high. Chapter 185. Is he the illegitimate son of a god? On the top of a Kainrin cliff, among the wind and thunder clouds, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast, which has been cultivated for more than 100,000 years and is close to the level of ferocious beasts, is staring at Jiang Ming with eager eyes. It's really eyeing. Because the head of Fangluyi prison beast is a tiger head, and Jiang Ming stood not far from the Fangluyi suppressing prison beast, with a long-lost desire to fight ignited in his eyes. Yet, I haven't had a fight in a long time. The last time I had a fight was when I was in the Eye of Ice and Fire, and I fought with those 7 Jew flowers with blue scales. It was basically just a beating, which was not pleasant. Now you can have a passionate fight. Xiaoming, be careful, even. Though he knew that Jiang Ming had 3 elves with 100,000 years of cultivation, Mr. Zhuan was still a little worried. For a battle at this level, Jiang Ming's level 69 soul power feels too weak. Yet, Jiang Ming didn't say anything more, nodded slightly, and 5 soul rings, 1 yellow, 2 purple, 1 black and 1 red, rose up under his feet. As the martial spirit was activated, the energy and blood in Jiang Ming's body began to evaporate. The surging power of blood and the power of the golden heart almost turned Jiang Ming into golden god of war. Human, you are only 5 rings. Even if you have 100,000-year soul ring, you can never be my opponent. When it saw the blood-red soul ring appearing on Jiang Ming's body, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast's pupils obviously shrank, and even its huge claws took a step back. Having a 100,000-year soul ring means that this guy killed a 100,000-year soul beast. Of course, it was absolutely impossible for him to kill the 100,000-year-old soul beast that was absorbed by the 5 rings. It must have been helped by the old man next to him who had no moral ethics. But even with help, a 100,000-year soul beast is not that easy to absorb. The human being in front of me is definitely not simple. But after all, it is a 100,000-year-old soul beast, or a 100,000-year-old soul beast whose cultivation is close to the ferocious beast level. A mere soul king with only 5 rings, in his eyes, can be destroyed with a snap of his finger. It's useless to talk more, let's have a fight. Jiang Ming didn't talk nonsense with Fangluyi to suppress the prison beast. With Mr. Zhuan sitting on the side, coupled with his own strength, he came out the possibility of accidents is close to none. His speed was very fast, and he covered the distance between him and the wind and thunder prison beast almost in the blink of an eye. The first soul skill, heart shock. During the process of getting closer, Jiang Ming's first soul ring was activated directly, trying to interfere with the heart rate of the fangling prison beast. My heartbeat is actually disturbed. The wind and thunder suppressing prison beast was a little surprised, but the next moment, the surging soul power in the body shattered this interference in an instant. It's impossible to have a century-old soul ring skill that works on it. The third soul skill, golden blood, the skill of the strange velvet Babel chrysanthemum soul ring, the power of diamond. The second awakening skill of the heart of gold, golden combat body. The first soul skill does not work. This is within Jiang Ming's expectation. After all, it is a century-old soul ring skill. But when Fangluyi suppressing prison beast eliminated the interference of heart shock, Jiang Ming had already rushed in front of it and activated 3 skills at the same time. What the hell? The Fangling's home prison beast was originally dismissive, so what if a 5 ring made him get close? It's just scraping myself. But when this guy rushed in front of him and activated 3 soul skills, the Fangling prison beast felt a power comparable to the level of a titled Douluo and was stunned. You have 5 rings and suddenly become a titled Douluo? What an international joke. How did it know that Jiang Ming only had the first martial soul with 5 soul rings, and his actual soul power was at level 69? Moreover, in terms of strength alone, Jiang Ming is already comparable to the peak soul saint due to his martial soul and indestructible body. With the blessing of the third soul skill, his instantaneous explosive power is comparable to the control level. The power. Then he added the combat skills of the second awakening of the martial soul and the 100,000-year soul ring skill. It was not surprising that his instant power reached that of a titled Douluo. Boom. Jiang Ming was like a golden god of war. The surging energy and blood gathered in his fist, and the powerful force burst out of it. It blasted the air and blew the wind and thunder prison beast away. Ahem, Mr. Zhuang stared at this scene dumbfounded, and actually choked on the wine. He originally thought that Jiang Ming was going to let the three elves who had completed 100,000 years of evolution attack this wind and thunder prison beast. But he didn't expect that Jiang Ming would use the first martial spirit. Although the power that exploded at the tidal Douluo level was only for a moment, it was still at the tidal Douluo level. My little boy, Jiang Ming, is only 18 years old. This tidal Douluo level power is heaven-defying, so heaven-defying. This kid can't be the illegitimate son of some god. Elder Zhuang was already stunned, and the Fanglui prison beast underestimated the enemy for a moment and was knocked away by Jiang Ming's punch, and his temper suddenly surged up. Damn humans! Roar! The wind and thunder suppressing prison beast roared, and a pair of wings behind it flashed with intense light. The wings on the left flashed with cyan light, and the strong wind between heaven and earth rushed towards Jiang Ming as if receiving an order. The right wing's purple light flashed, and a dozen thunderbolts as thick as water tanks suddenly burst out of the clouds, and they also struck at Jiang Ming. A bright white light flashed before hearing the roar of thunder. Seeing this, Mr. Zhuang slowly raised his hand. However, Jiang Ming, who was targeted by Gangfang and Xianli, did not retreat but advanced. His golden body was against Gangfang and Xianli, and attacked the fangling prison beast. The strong wind shredded his clothes and tore apart his superficial skin. The thunder struck his body instantly, turning into violent electric current and sweeping across his body. Hiss, it hurts a bit. Facing such a terrifying power, Jiang Ming only had this comment. It hurts a little. Don't underestimate this evaluation. Compared with a dozen or so energies fighting inside his body, this wind and thunder are really not that interesting. How is it possible? The fangling suppressing prison beast was shocked again. This Gangfang and the sky thunder? Even a powerful tidal Douluo would not want to force it. Only then what about humans with 5 rings? There was no time to be shocked. Jiang Ming had already rushed in front of him again. It is a familiar power again, but this time, the fangling prison beast no longer underestimates the enemy, and even looks at the opponent with a true look. Its huge claws directly met Jiang Ming's fist, and the explosive force continued to be generated during the two people's fight, even covering the sound of thunder in the sky. Boom! 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 The two figures collided for 3 rounds, and a golden stream of light fell directly onto the platform, creating a big crater. Jiang Ming stood up from the pit in a panic and changed all his torn clothes at an extremely fast speed. HMPH, human, I don't know how you possess this kind of power, but your power cannot last long and you cannot match me, the fangling prison beast snorted. After 3 rounds of fighting, it only lost a few scales and received a punch in the face. Although it is also very embarrassing, compared with Jiang Ming who has tried his best, it is a judgment call. Yes, the soul power consumed to activate the golden combat body and the power of King Kong is too great. The soul power of level 69 cannot be used many times, which is a bit troublesome. Jiang Ming shook his hand and said with some regret. He is indeed very powerful now. His martial soul has awakened for the 2nd time and he possesses a 100,000-year-old soul ring and soul bone. He can instantly burst out with tidal Douluo level power. But in fact, his soul power can only support him to use this power for a few short strikes. That said, 3 rounds of real men are about the same. Human, you lose. The wind and thunder prison beast flaps its huge wings, accompanied by strong wind and thunder, majestic, with the pride of a winner. Maybe it was because he was beaten stupid by Elder Zhuang and Elder Song. As a soul beast with more than 100,000 years of cultivation, he was still proud of defeating a 5th-level human soul master. I lost? Who told you that I lost? There was a smile on Jiang Ming's lips, which was so weird in the eyes of Fanglui prison beast. Stop pretending. You have tried your best. The fangling prison beast suppressed the uneasiness in its heart and shouted loudly. Yes, I tried my best, but it doesn't mean I lost. Jiang Ming patted the clothes he had just changed into, and stretched out his right hand in a very pretentious manner. Amidst the roaring wind and deafening thunder, there was a snap of fingers. Come out and have fun. In an instant, the 5 soul rings on Jiang Ming's body, 1 yellow, 2 purple, 1 black and 1 red, disappeared, replaced by 2 black, 3 red and 1 black soul rings. I'm going to force my obsessive-compulsive disorder to death again. Immediately afterwards, in addition to Xia Fang who was still comprehending the wind element, The other 5 elves and even Rongrong also flew out of the river. The bright spiritual sea. 6 figures stood on the left and right sides of Jiang Ming, and the aura they exuded was no weaker than that of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast in the air. The warm-up is over, the real battle begins now. End of this chapter. Chapter 186. Young people don't respect martial ethics! Exclamation mark. Following Jiang Ming's order, the elves and Rongrong quickly took their positions. Xiaoling and Rongrong stand at the back, providing auxiliary effects and field control skills at any time. Xiaoling used the ultimate ice to create a black ice throne. He just sat on it, his eyes were cold, Wanbing bowed his head, and the world was frozen. Xiaolian stepped barefoot into a red lotus transformed by the ultimate fire. Her whole body was enveloped in an extremely hot aura, her temperament was unparalleled, the flames burned the sky, and she looked down upon the world. In front, Xiao Guang holds the divine light heavenly sword, and Xiao En holds the shadow demon sword. Although they have not completed 100,000 years of evolution, their cultivation is approaching 100,000 years. The combat power is not inferior to that of ordinary 100,000-year soul beasts. Feng Lei prison beast felt that he should be having a long nightmare. Yes, it's definitely a nightmare. What is this? It has lived on this Kainran cliff for tens of thousands of years. Because of the special environment here, it has cultivated for more than 100,000 years. It drinks the northwest wind and eats the thunder from the sky all day long. Live a peaceful life. One day, an old human man with terrifying strength suddenly appeared on the originally peaceful mountaintop, and he could not escape. Before it could figure out the old man's weakness, a slightly weaker but equally terrifying human came from behind. Now here comes another pervert like this. What is this if not a nightmare? How could it have such a strange nightmare? Feng Lei prison beast fell into deep self-doubt. But the elves will not wait for it to understand the 3 major philosophies of life before taking action. What matters in a fight is to strike first and gain the upper hand. The divine light descends from the sky, fall, there are many shadows, strike. The thundercloud above the Feng Lei prison beast's head opened a crack at some point, and a dazzling light fell from the gap. In an instant, it hit the blue wing on the left side of the Feng Lei prison beast. At the same time, dozens of shadow sword lights unknowingly struck the purple wing on the right side of the Feng Lei prison beast. Roar! The intense pain awakened the wind and thunder prison beast from its self-doubt. The wings were injured, causing its huge body to fall downwards, and it also made it clear that this was not a nightmare, this horse riding was actually real. But it didn't have time to be shocked by what it saw, because the 2 old men who attacked its wings had already rushed over with swords. Not far away, the ice attribute aura and fire attribute aura that made it feel a strong threat also began to attack. The power was enough to compete with it. In addition to these, there are 2 guys behind who don't know what they are doing. Its soul beast instinct feels that the 2 behind have extremely strong vitality. If he can devour them, he can even attack immediately the second catastrophe. A trace of greed flashed in Feng Lei prison beast's eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Red Lotus Karma Fire, burn. Xiaolian's sister's voice is still so beautiful, but the Feng Lei prison beast obviously doesn't know how to appreciate it. It only feels the mortal threat contained in the ultimate fire attribute. Roar! The Feng Lei prison beast roared, and a violent wind with a radius of 10,000 meters swept in. The violent wind prevented the Red Lotus Karma Fire from spreading quickly. Xiaolian frowned slightly and was about to increase the output when Xiao Bing took action. The ice will freeze forever, seal it. Suddenly, a large number of snowflakes fell from the sky, and the temperature, which was already very low due to the altitude, instantly dropped to an extremely terrifying level. The wind and thunder prison beast's huge body was instantly covered with ice, and the icy blue ice sealed its body, causing the wind and thunder prison beast that was still struggling to fall down like a comet. Period. Bang! Jiang Ming and Mr. Zhuan clinked their milk teacups and watched the falling comet quite leisurely. Mr. Zhuan, do you think I bullied it a little too much? Seeing the Feng Lei prison beast being tortured a little miserably, Jiang Ming felt a little bit sorry. Bullying it? Xiaoming, are you looking down on this wind and thunder prison beast? It has dual attribute abilities and its strength is close to the level of a ferocious beast. It's more than just that, Zhuan. Lao smiled and shook his head, eating chicken legs and drinking milk tea. Boom! A blue-white lightning suddenly fell down and struck the ice cube transformed by the wind and thunder suppression beast. You guys really pissed me off. The Fangling prison beast looked really angry. A terrifying aura that seemed to come from the wilderness instantly enveloped the surrounding space, with endless wind and thunder converging towards its body. Suddenly, the figure of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast disappeared from the spot. Blue Thunder Claw, a huge claw surrounded by thunder appeared from behind Xiaoguang and slapped Xiaoguang's body hard. The thunder and lightning made Xiaoguangdian's body tremble, and the huge force flew Xiaoguang away. Almost the next moment, the same claw appeared behind Xiaoan, making Xiaoan's whole body numb and making him lose his grip on the knife. After dealing with Xiaoguang and Xiaoan, the Fanglui prison beast looked at Jiang Ming fiercely. Its brain tells it that if it solves Jiang Ming, it can solve these guys. But its body didn't dare to go. The old man is next to Jiang Ming. If it rushes over and kills Jiang Ming, it will undoubtedly be killed by the old man. It's so frustrating. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. The Fanglei suppressing prison beast got angry and rushed out. Fanglei flapped its wings and flew towards Xiaobing and Xiaolian, wanting to fight them to the death. When Fanglei suppressing prison beast wanted to fight to the death, it did not notice that after Xiaoling saw Xiaoguang and Xiaon being injured, a little green light appeared on his hand. Boom, roar, burn, seal, burn. You to death. Freeze you into ice cubes, climb. For me. 3 rays of light kept fighting in the sky. Xiaobing and Xiaolian, the cultivation level has just evolved 200,000 years, but it has the ultimate attribute, and it is still 2 against 1. In the situation, it can suppress the wind and thunder prison beast. The Fanglui prison beast is not a vegetarian. With more than 100,000 years of cultivation, it is close to the combat power of the ferocious beast. This is still its home base, occupying the right time and place, which means personal discord. Even if he is defeated in a fight with Xiaobing and Xiaolian, he will not give up at all. Saw 10 minutes past, 20 minutes past, half an hour past. There were 3 figures in the sky. There were varying degrees of injuries, and most of the soul power had been consumed, so the overall situation was a draw. Who, even. If I fight 1 against 2, I can defeat you. The wind and thunder suppressing prison beast gasped for air, but it was secretly absorbing space. The soul power in the recovery state. The wind and thunder elements here are extremely rich, and its recovery speed is definitely faster than the 2 guys who master the ice and fire elements in front of us. HMPH. Wait for it to recover and defeat these 2 guys in one fell swoop. So what if you have ultimate attributes? In my territory, my cultivation level is high and I can still defeat you. Alice. At this time, Jiang Ming's voice suddenly came over. The Fanglui prison beast looked at the hateful human, only to see Jiang Ming holding a milk teacup and waving to it. If you plan to compare your recovery speed with Xiaobing and Xiaolian, I advise you to give up this idea, Jiang Ming said loudly. Zhuan Lao on the side couldn't help but smile when he heard this. The Fanglui prison beast narrowed its eyes with disdain. So what if you guessed what I was thinking? Do you really think I would believe what you, a hateful human being, say? As long as I recover quickly enough, I will win this battle. Feng Leizhen prison beast thought in his mind and turned his attention back to Xiaobing and Xiaolian. Then, it saw Xiaobing and Xiaolian, who had consumed most of their soul power and had many scars on their bodies, were bathing in the shining green light. That green light has extremely rich vitality. It healed all the injuries of Xiaobing and Xiaolian in an instant, and even replenished most of their soul power. The source of the green light is the green elf who has been standing behind and has not taken any action. It is the guy it noticed from the beginning and even wanted to devour. Seemingly noticing the gaze of Fanglui suppressing prison beast, Xiaoling playfully waved her hand towards Fangling suppressing prison beast. At this time, behind the Fangling prison beast, Xiaoguang and Xiaoan appeared in full glory again, with the sharp edges of their swords pointing directly at the 2 large wings of the Fangling prison beast. At this moment, Fanglui prison beast understood a truth. It turns out that the only one injured has always been itself. After understanding this, the fighting desire in Fanglui prison beast's chest was directly extinguished as if a basin of cold water had been poured on it. It landed on the ground with a very lonely back, and crawled down with a great grievance, muttering unconsciously, "Young man, you don't have martial ethics." End of this chapter. Chapter 187. If you dare to take action, I will skin you. Are you autistic? Jiang Ming walked to Fanglui prison beast and gently stroked its head. Human, I don't want to talk to you. The Wind and thunder suppressing prison beast turned its head to the side, without any desire to speak. Thinking of it being born a strange species, mastering the dual attribute power of wind and thunder, and having been cultivated for more than 100,000 years, with combat power close to that of a ferocious beast, it can be said to be the king of soul beasts. But it couldn't defeat the 3 people it had only fought against over the years since its debut. Forget it if you can't beat 2 old men and an old lady, they can't even beat a human cub. Forget it, I'm tired, let's destroy it. It didn't even intend to resist Jiang Ming's touch of its noble head. It just wanted to lick its wounds alone and bear the pain silently. How about I ask Xiao Ling to treat you too, Jiang Ming tentatively suggested. Really? The Fangli prison beast turned to look at Jiang Ming, its huge tiger eyes flashing with light. Are you autistic anymore? Jiang Ming was stunned for a moment by the reaction of Fangli prison beast, but then he asked again. The Fangling prison beast did not speak, but looked at Jiang Ming with its huge eyes, wanting to get a sincere answer. Really, Xiaoling, come here and help this guy heal. Jiang Ming smiled and waved towards Xiaoling not far away. Here comes the master. Seeing the guy who was filled with a rich aura of life approach, the Fangli prison beast's eyes flickered, but it was very obscure. Oh, by the way, let me remind you, if you dare to attack Xiaoling, I will let Mr. Xuan skin you right now. Jiang Ming's light words made him the Fangling prison beast, which was about to stir in its heart, immediately calmed down. It stared at Jiang Ming with wide eyes, completely unable to understand why a human cub would say such terrifying words. Picking off the skin. It hurts just thinking about it. How could it be possible? How could I attack her? It's impossible. Facing Jiang Ming's gentle yet cruel smile, Fangli prison beast responded with a naive smile. The desire to survive is quite strong. Healing of living beings, as the gleaming green light in Xiao Ling's hand covered the body of the Fangli suppressing prison beast, the Fangling suppressing prison beast suddenly felt that the scars on its body were healing rapidly. It stands to reason that these scars are caused by the power of the ultimate attribute and are difficult to heal. However, Xiaoling's life attribute is too powerful, and nourished by the rich vitality, everything is just a cloud. So comfortable the Fangling prison beast coveted Xiaoling even more, but Zhuan Lao, Jiang Ming and other elves next to him strangled its idea in the cradle. After Xiaoling cured the Fangli suppressing prison beast, Mr. Zhuan pulled Jiang Ming aside and said softly, Xiaoming, Mr. Mu said, this Fangling suppressing prison beast is for you. The first martial soul is used as a soul ring, so it doesn't make much sense for you to cure it. In addition to allowing Xiaofang to complete 100,000 years of evolution, their purpose of coming this time was to allow Jiang Ming to absorb the soul ring and soul bone of this wind thunder suppressing prison beast. Hearing this, Jiang Ming shook his head. Glanced at Jiang Ming intently, nodded, and said nothing more. After the Fangli suppression prison beast recovered from its injuries, it went to fight the elves again, but this time it was more like a small fight. And in the midst of this little fuss, a speeding figure in the distance flew towards the 1,000-foot cliff. Mr. Zhuan took a closer look and immediately realized that it was Mr. Song. Xiaoming, Mr. Song is here, Mr. Zhuan took a bite of the chicken leg in his hand and led Jiang Ming to meet Mr. Song. Did you get the thing, Mr. Zhuan asked. Well, I got it, let's get started. Song Lao nodded, without saying anything more, and opened a box that was dozens of centimeters long, wide and high in his hand. Inside the box, there is actually a sine wind. This strong wind condenses and rotates in the box, forming a tornado shape, but the sharpness and momentum it exudes are far stronger than ordinary tornadoes. This is the 9-layer Qingyang wind, which is the wind attribute energy closest to the ultimate wind attribute, Song Lao gave the information about this thing without waiting for Jiang Ming to ask. Where is Xiaofang? Jiang Ming pointed at Xiaofang's position. She was absorbing the rich wind element energy around her and improving her condition to perfection. A few people flew to Xiaofang with the 9 layers of green gang wind. After everything was ready, Mr. Song slowly removed the power that bound the 9 layers of green gang wind from the box call. In an instant, the whole body of several people was enveloped by the fierce green wind. Old Song raised his palm slightly, and an eagle cry resounded through the sky, and the huge shadow of the eagle protected everyone inside. On the ground below, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast sensed the energy of the 9-layer Qingyang wind. Its tiger eyes suddenly glared, and its huge body subconsciously flew towards the position of the 9-layer Qingang wind. However, just when it almost reached the green wind, an old voice sounded above its head. "What do you want to do, Mr. Zhuan pressed one hand on the Fanglui prison beast's forehead with little force, but the Fanglui prison beast felt a life and death crisis. It knew that as long as it flew forward a little further, Zhuan Lao's terrifying power would pass through this hand and shatter its skull. Of course, it is a soul beast that has been cultivated for more than 100,000 years, so it will not be killed instantly, but it is definitely a dead end. But this rich Cyan Gangfang energy is really too tempting. This is enough to further improve its cultivation. I will come up and have a look, just come up and have a look." The Fanglui suppression prison beast finally obeyed. "Although my baby is good, my life is more important. Then watch, move, and die." After the 9-layer Qingang wind was released, Xia Fang had already entered a state of evolution that lasted for 100,000 years. Obviously, the 9-layer Qingang wind is the treasure that can start Xia Fang's evolution. The endless Cyan wind surrounds Xia Fang's body, turning into traces of energy and flowing into Xia Fang's body. The surrounding wind energy was also pulled over, forming a larger tornado on the periphery of the Cyan Gangfang. Xia Fang was at the center, and everyone else stood on the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast. Fanglui prison beast feels like it is carrying a mountain on its back, and it will crush itself to death if it is not careful. Those guys on the back are really capable. 100,000 years of evolution is a relatively long time, and everyone and the Fangling prison beast returned to the plains. The Fanglui prison beast looked longingly at the endless green wind in the sky, but there was not a single wisp that it could get. It felt so uncomfortable in its heart. Little did they know that Elder Zhuan and Elder Song on the other side had already turned their attention to it. Xiao Feng's evolution process seems to be going very smoothly, so next, it's time to turn this wind and thunder prison suppressing beast into Jiang Ming's soul ring and soul bone. Of course, in order to avoid affecting Xia Fang during the battle, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song decided to wait until Xia Fang's 100,000-year evolution was completed before taking action. As for Jiang Ming, he looked at Fanglui's suppressing prison beast and had an idea in his mind. But whether it can be successful or not, we still need to try it to know. Soon, a month passed, and Xia Fang's 100,000 years of evolution was coming to an end. When I was in the Ice and Fire Eyes before, the elf's cultivation level was not enough, so it took a long time to improve their cultivation level. Now, Xia Fang's cultivation has already reached the peak of 90,000 years, and he only needs to evolve for 100,000 years. Finally, in the roaring wind, Xia Fang completed 100,000 years of evolution. The evolved Xia Fang looks even more beautiful, like a goddess in the strong wind, calm in the roaring, gentle in the fierce. Successful, eh? Smile appeared on Jiang Ming's face. The most intuitive sign of Xia Fang's success in his 100,000-year evolution is that the black 10,000-year soul ring belonging to Xia Fang on his body turned into a red 10,000-year spirit ring. 1,000-year soul ring. 2 black and 4 red. Somewhat pleasing to the eye. Of course, it would be better if they were all red. The small wind danced in the strong wind with a cheerful aura, while the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast had already felt the extremely dangerous aura. End of this chapter. Chapter 188. Cooperate with the sacrifice, and the fierce beast will catastrophe. What are you going to do? After sensing the danger, the Fangling prison beast immediately stayed away from these humans. Intuition tells it that these people are not holding back their farts. Mr. Zhuan walked slowly and said softly, "Nothing, I'll lend you your soul ring and soul bone, now." That Xia Fang has completed 100,000 years of evolution, the next step can be simpler. Jiang Ming felt as if he had heard these words somewhere. Well, it seemed that a certain prime minister had said similar words. The Fanglui prison beast wants to run away, but in front of 2 super strong men, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song, it has nowhere to go. Before he flew very far, he was directly beaten back by Mr. Zhuan. "You guys are a bit too cruel." The furry little girl who turned into a blonde girl looked at this scene with a furrowed face, feeling a little uncomfortable. Jiang Ming nodded. He could understand Wrong's thoughts to some extent. Killing a life with intelligence is a very cruel thing. However, reality is often cruel. Jiang Ming actually couldn't stop it. According to the rules of this world, a soul master's martial soul needs to obtain soul rings by hunting soul beasts in order to improve. Of course we can let go of the wind and thunder prison beast today, But which soul beast should we kill tomorrow? It's just a cruel object. In the distance, Elder Zhuan and Elder Song had completely suppressed the Fangling Prison Beast. The Fangling Prison Beast is very strong, and its combat power is close to the level of a ferocious beast. However, in front of the two super strong men, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song, there is no room for resistance. At this time, the Fangling Prison Beast finally understood that more than a year ago, the old man came over to beat it from time to time. He was not using it for entertainment, but had already set his sights on its soul ring and soul bones. Damn humans! Damn humans! The Fangling Prison Beast roared crazily and struggled desperately, trying to escape from old Zhuan's suppression, but it was all in vain. Lao Zhuan and Lao Song have already released their martial spirits and are preparing to beat the Fangling Prison Beast into a dying state, so that it will be easier for Jiang Ming to kill him. Mr. Zhuan, Mr. Song, please wait a moment, Jiang Ming said suddenly. Mr. Zhuan frowned and looked at Jiang Ming, fearing that Jiang Ming would be moved by his compassion, and reminded him in a deep voice, Xiaoming, absorbing this wind and thunder prison beast will be of great benefit to your martial spirit. At this time, you can't be kind. Song Lao also reminded, Xiaoming, if you miss it, it will be difficult to find 100,000-year soul beast to make a soul ring for you. Listening to the reminders of the two elders, Jiang Ming nodded, indicating that he knew. What's more, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast wanted to take action against Xiao Ling and Xiao Feng. Another way, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song looked at each other with doubts on their faces. Well, let's try another way. With that said, Jiang Ming walked up to Fangling Prison Beast and said softly, if you cooperate, I have a way to keep your soul. The soul ring and soul bone must be yes, but since wrong feels cruel, we can also find a compromise. Retaining the soul of the wind and thunder prison beast is theoretically not considered killing it. Roar, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast roared at Jiang Ming, but there was no fishy smell. After all, it grew up drinking wind and thunder, but it sprayed Jiang Ming's face with saliva. Okay, I understand. Mr. Zhuan, help me cripple it. Jiang Ming wiped his face with something, then stood aside and watched. Since it doesn't want to retain its soul, it can simply go through the normal process. Roar, 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 with the joint efforts of Mr. causing the Fangling Prison Beast to continuously roar in pain. And soon, the painful roar gradually weakened, and the voice became dying. Okay, Xiaoming, come over and give it one last blow. Although Fangling suppressing prison beast was already dying, in order to prevent this guy from retaliate before death, Mr. Zhuan still suppressed it tightly. Little light, little dark, merged together, Jiang Ming said as he walked. Xiao Guang and Xiaoan entered Jiang Ming's body, making Jiang Ming's hair white on one side and black on the other, looking very strange. A lightsaber and a magic knife also appeared in Jiang Ming's hands. Jiang Ming's steps were not fast, but in the eyes of the Fangling Prison Beast, they were surprisingly fast. I will give you one last chance. Cooperate with me and I will save your soul. If you don't cooperate, you know the consequences. Jiang Ming's image at this moment and the words he said are already a bit like a villain. In fact, if Wrong hadn't thought it was too cruel, Jiang Ming wouldn't have given it another chance. The soul beast has been killed. The wise evil soul master has been killed. There's nothing that a smart soul beast can't do. In the fantasy world, there are people who eat this, let alone kill them. The Fangling Prison Beast looked at Jiang Ming who was right in front of him, its eyes full of unwillingness. But it could no longer lift up any strength. 3. Jiang Ming started counting down directly. 2. Jiang Ming has already raised his lightsaber and magic knife. 1. The lightsaber and magic knife fell quickly. I cooperate. Hearing this, Jiang Ming paused and released a combination with Xiao Guang and Xiaoan. It would have been better if it had been like this. I had to take this beating. Jiang Ming shook his head, and then sat cross-legged in front of Fangling Prison Beast. You should be able to offer sacrifices, right? The wind and thunder prison beast's pupils shrank. The way you said to save my soul is to ask me to sacrifice. If this is the case, the Fangling Prison Beast will definitely not cooperate. Sacrifice will never leave a soul behind. Of course not. Jiang Ming glanced at it and said, it's just that if you sacrifice, the pressure on my body will be less, and it will be more convenient then. With that said, Jiang Ming released his first martial spirit. Did you see that this 100,000-year soul ring was provided to me by the person next to me? Wrong, wrong. And now, its soul is still retained. It's just empty talk about Fenglai town. The prison beast definitely didn't believe it, so Jiang Ming directly brought up the case. The Fenglai prison beast glanced at Wrong, then at the red soul ring on Jiang Ming's body, and pondered for a while before nodding. How did you do it, Jiang? Ming raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, you don't need to ask. Next, just cooperate with me. The Fenglai prison beast was silent for a while, and then slowly closed its eyes as if it had finally made up its mind. The next moment, a terrifying energy gathered in the body of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast. The surrounding wind and thunder seemed to sense this energy and began to become manic. Elder Zhuan and Elder Song did not speak during the whole process, but just watched quietly, using their own powerful strength to suppress the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast. As all the energy in the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast's body gathered, the sacrifice finally began. A blood-red soul ring slowly emerged from the body of the Fenglai prison beast, and the terrifying aura caused the expressions of both Elder Zhuan and Elder Song to change. With this momentum, the Fenglai prison beast is really approaching the level of a ferocious beast. If this guy reaches the level of a ferocious beast, with this guy's dual attribute ability, even if Elder Zhuan and Elder Song join forces, it will cost a lot to capture it. Jiang Ming looked at the red soul ring, holding his breath and preparing to absorb it. Suddenly, the body of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast trembled violently, and the blood-red soul ring that had been stable suddenly began to tremble. The situation in the world suddenly changed, and countless lightning bolts suddenly burst out from the clouds above everyone's heads, striking crazily towards the body of the Fenglai prison beast. The whistling gang wind in the sky, as well as the remaining 9 layers of green gang wind after being absorbed by the small wind, also rushed towards the body of the Fenglai prison beast. Everyone didn't understand what was happening and could only retreat temporarily. Under the crazy indoctrination of Thunder and Gangfeng, the blood-red soul ring above the body of Fenglai suppressing prison beast continued to tremble, and its aura continued to rise. In the end, the bloody soul ring that originally had only one golden streak actually developed another golden streak. The 2 golden lines represent the 200,000-year-old soul beast. Levels of ferocious beasts. After the 2 golden lines that were almost blood-colored soul rings were solidified, the thunder clouds in the sky seemed to become even more violent, as if there was a terrifying power brewing. Seeing this, Mr. Zhuan seemed to have thought of something, and said with a horrified look, the catastrophe of the ferocious beast. 4 chapters, but 10,000 words. I'll try to see if I can maintain the 10,000 update rate per day. Please give me your support. Thank you again for your monthly votes and recommended votes, and for the rewards. End of this chapter, Chapter 189. I don't want to be a dishonest person, I will help it overcome the disaster. What? Jiang Ming looked at Mr. The cultivation level of this wind and thunder suppressing prison beast is close to the level of a ferocious beast that has been in existence for 200,000 years. The sacrifice just now seems to have aroused the surrounding wind and thunder energy. The induced wind and thunder energy was infused into the wind and thunder suppressing prison. After entering the beast's body, he unexpectedly pushed the Fenglai prison beast's cultivation level to 200,000 years. Mr. Zhuan's face looked a little ugly. A soul beast's cultivation level will face a catastrophe every 100,000 years. This is God's test for the soul beast. And a soul beast that has a cultivation level of 200,000 years is also called a ferocious beast. This guy, sacrificed after the sacrifice, he actually broke through to the ferocious beast level. This is trouble, Song. Lao looked at Jiang Ming and said solemnly, Xiaoming, this soul ring. I can't have it anymore. Jiang Ming was stunned, a little confused. Why, Mr. Song? If you are worried about whether I can withstand the energy of the soul ring of this 200,000-year ferocious beast, then it's okay. This is a sacrifice, and I can merge with the elves. It can greatly increase the strength of the body in a short period of time and is completely bearable. Jiang Ming thought that Mr. Song was worried that he wouldn't be able to withstand the energy of the 200,000-year soul ring, so he explained softly. It's not because of this, Zhuan Lao said suddenly. If the age of the soul ring exceeded 200,000 years when it was absorbed by you, there would be no problem. But this guy's cultivation level exceeded 200,000 years at the beginning of the sacrifice, which means the superiors will judge that it is not dead. The heavenly tribulation will still fall. and in its current condition, it cannot survive the 200,000-year tribulation. Jiang Ming was stunned and couldn't believe it. So there is such a thing? But if it survives, it will die? Jiang Ming asked with a frown. Yes, if the heavenly tribulation cannot be overcome, the soul beast will definitely die. Mr. Song sighed. The lifespan of a soul beast is much longer than that of a human being, but it also faces many difficulties. This is all life? Is there no other way? I promised to keep its soul. Jiang Ming's face was a little ugly. He had promised Fenglai prison beast before that he would keep its soul. Just let it be sacrificed. But now, the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast in the state of sacrifice will definitely not be able to survive the catastrophe, and it will definitely die. It's not that there is nothing. Before Zhuan Lao could say anything, he was stopped by Song Lao's look. Jiang Ming noticed the strangeness of the two old men and asked quickly, Mr. Zhuan, Mr. Song, is there really a way? Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song did not speak. When the Fenglai suppressing prison beast didn't let go before, he just killed it. But now it has relented, and he has promised it to keep its soul, and he does not want to break his promise. What's more, it seems that the Fenglai prison beast triggered this thunder calamity because of the sacrifice. This Mr. There's a way, but it is very dangerous, very dangerous. Hearing this, Jiang Ming looked at Mr. Zhuan without any flickering of his eyes. With the current state of this wind and thunder prison beast, it will definitely not be able to survive the disaster unless it is struck by lightning, but if you absorb its soul ring, then the thunder tribulation will be transferred to your body due to the breath of the wind and thunder prison beast, thus transferring the thunder tribulation to you. In other words, you help it survive the disaster. Jiang Ming understood. He quickly walked to the Fenglai suppressing prison beast and was about to absorb the blood-red soul ring. Zio Ming, do you know how terrifying the catastrophe of a ferocious beast with a cultivation level of 200,000 years is? Exclamation mark. That's something even a titled Douluo can't handle. Mr. Zhuan stopped directly in front of Jiang Ming. He did not expect Jiang Ming to be so decisive. Mr. His eyes were very firm, without any fear. The evil beast Xianji is very strong, but he is not weak either. No. You can't take this risk. The worst we can do is find 100,000-year soul beast for you. Song Lao also stood in front of Jiang Ming. Jiang Ming is a super genius who the entire Poseidon Pavilion has high hopes for, and who has the potential to become a god. There is no need to take such a risk. Mr. Jiang Ming didn't say anything else, and directly pulled the spirit ring of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast. The soul ring of Fenglai suppressing prison beast seemed to be impatient. It didn't require Jiang Ming to pull it hard at all, and came to Jiang Ming's side on its own initiative, and began to merge with Jiang Ming with great cooperation. Mr. Start absorbing soul rings. Time is running out. He must absorb the soul ring quickly, otherwise the absorption time of the soul bone may not be enough. Seeing that Jiang Ming had begun to absorb the soul ring, Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song also sighed. But they can't interrupt Jiang Ming's absorption of soul rings now. It is very difficult to absorb a 200,000-year-old soul ring. If they interrupt, the probability of Jiang Ming going crazy will be very high. Why is this child like this? Mr. Song looked helpless. In this case, there is no need to worry about agreeing to a soul beast. Instead, it is not worth putting yourself in danger. Forget it, Mr. Song. Since we have already started, let's protect this kid properly. He is not someone who likes to seek death, so he should be sure of it. Zhuan Lao shook his head and took a sip of wine, looking at the thunder clouds in the sky that were becoming more and more depressing and terrifying. If Jiang Ming couldn't survive it, he would directly break up this thunder disaster. Jiang Ming's process of absorbing soul rings was relatively comfortable, at least much more comfortable than others' process of absorbing soul rings through direct hunting. The biggest difficulty in absorbing a 100,000-year soul ring is actually not the terrifying energy in the 100,000-year soul ring, but the soul of the 100,000-year soul beast in the soul ring. Unless the martial soul is particularly powerful in terms of soul, it will be too difficult to rely on mental power to compete with a soul that is 100,000 years old. It is more difficult than directly killing a 100,000-year soul beast. But sacrifice is different. The soul of the soul beast sacrificed is not hostile to the absorber, so there is no such process. Within the spiritual sea, I didn't expect you, a human cub, to be quite trustworthy, but can you withstand the catastrophe of my ferocious beast? The soul of the Fangli prison beast is in the sea of spirit. The transformed image is a woman with wings. Her body is wrapped in black scales and there are several patterns on her face. She looks very strange. I can't bear it. Can you bear it now, Jiang Ming said angrily. Hurry up and cooperate with me to absorb the soul ring and then the soul bone. This way it will be less difficult to survive the catastrophe, Jiang Ming urged. Then, what you said can save my soul, Fangli? Suppressing prison beast asked with some anxiety. I've helped you withstand the thunderstorm. Are you still worried that I won't lie to you? How about you bear it yourself now? Jiang Ming glared at the Fangling prison beast, and then activated his mental power to enter the soul bone of his head. When Fangli suppressing prison beast heard this, it seemed to be the same reason, so he stopped talking and fully cooperated with Jiang Ming to absorb the soul ring. With this kind of cooperation, Jiang Ming quickly absorbed the soul ring, which was a full 200,000 years old. Although his body felt like it was about to burst, Jiang Ming still succeeded with the support of the strange velvet giant chrysanthemum soul bone and the golden heart. At this time, the thunder catastrophe in the sky was about to take shape. The thick thunder clouds were carrying endless pressure and a terrifying sense of oppression that the sky was collapsing, and they were suppressing Jiang Ming. Hey! My soul is dissipating. You said you can save my soul. You are not really lying to me. After the soul ring was absorbed, the soul of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast began to dissipate little by little, directly frightening the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast. Shut up. Jiang Ming now has to withstand the pressure of the heavenly tribulation while absorbing the soul bone of the wind and thunder prison beast, and he also has to use his head soul bone skills with mental power. But also listening to the nagging of Fangli's henging beast, people are about to burst. Fortunately, he has the help of elves in his spiritual sea, otherwise this three-line battle would be a bit difficult. Xiaoling, merge together, Xiao Feng, Xiao Bing, Xiao Lian, please help me stabilize her soul with your mental power, Xiao. Guang Xiaoan, time may be too late. If I haven't been there when the thunder tribulation comes down, after absorbing the soul bones, help me block the first wave of catastrophe. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Head Soul Bone Skills and External Soul Bones. Jiang Ming's arrangement was calculated. As a life elf, Xiao Lincoln increased the efficiency and speed of absorbing soul bones when fusing soul bones. The soul of the Fangling prison beast was too strong, so 3 elves who had completed 100,000 years of evolution were allowed to stabilize its soul. Xia Guang and Xiaoan wanted to be just in case, otherwise they would be split when absorbing the soul bone, which would be too uncomfortable. After arranging all this, Jiang Ming concentrated all his mental power and used skills that he had never used since he obtained the head soul bone. Mind control, soul imprint. Jiang Ming's mental power is very strong now. After learning to rule the world with Mr. Mew, he added thanks to the spiritual training of the elves over the years and the blessing of the soul bone on his head, Jiang Ming's mental power has reached the level of an ordinary title Douluo. But this is not enough, because the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast is now a soul at the ferocious beast level. Please cooperate and accept my soul mark. Jiang Ming controlled the soul mark that he had condensed with almost all his mental power, and flew towards the soul of the Fangling prison beast. Are you trying to enslave me with a soul brand? The wind and thunder prison beast felt a mental fluctuations in the soul brand and subconsciously wanted to avoid it. Nonsense. This is the only way to save your soul. Do you like it or not? If not, your soul will just disappear. Jiang Ming's expression in the sea of spirits was extremely painful. In order to preserve the soul of the Fangling prison beast to the maximum extent, he gathered almost all his mental power into this soul mark, leaving only a little mental power to absorb it. Soul bone. Hurry up, Jiang Ming is almost out of control, and the soul mark is slowly disappearing. This and this. The Fangling prison beast hesitated for a moment, and finally made up its mind when it saw that the soul mark was about to disappear. Come on, the wind and thunder prison beast took the initiative to put the soul mark into its own soul, allowing the spiritual power in the soul mark to spread in its soul. After a while, The soul of Fenglai prison beast was stabilized by Jiang Ming's soul imprint and did not continue to dissipate. Seeing this, Jiang Ming finally felt relieved. He can deal with this vicious beast with all his strength. But before he could relax for a moment, a violent bolt of thunder rushed out of the clouds and hit Jiang Ming's head. But at this time, Jiang Ming has not yet finished absorbing the soul bones. In other words, this soul bone seems a bit strange. When absorbed, it does not feel like any piece of soul bone in the limbs, but appears on the back. Mr. Can you grow wings by absorbing soul bones, Mr. Song's face was filled with astonishment. Mr. This can't be an attached soul bone, right, Mr. Zhuan muttered. These wings are obviously not the head, nor the torso, nor the limbs. And apart from these, there is only one possibility of possessing an external soul bone. Jiang Ming is so lucky that he actually encountered an externally attached soul bone. It's still an externally attached soul bone that is at the level of a 200,000-year-old ferocious beast. This is really comparing people to each other, so irritating. Both Elder Zhuan and Elder Song were speechless. This luck can be said to be incredible. At this moment, the first heavenly tribulation fell in the sky. But Mr. Song stopped him. Now is not the time, Song Lao said in a deep voice. Besides, when the calamity struck down, Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen turned into two rays of light, one white and one black, rotating around each other, condensing into a sharp cone, and rushed towards the calamity. Boom! Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen were beaten down by the heavenly tribulation at the same time. Their bodies were covered with burn marks from the thunder, and they were obviously seriously injured. This first heavenly tribulation was comparable to the full blow of a 100,000-year-old soul beast. The catastrophe of ferocious beasts is so terrifying. Healing of living things, as a green light flashed, the scars on Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen healed at an extremely fast speed. After Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen recovered, they did not return to Jiang Ming's spiritual sea, but continued to stare at the sky. The second catastrophe is brewing. Jiang Ming's external soul bones seem to have encountered some difficulties in absorbing them. When the external soul bones of Fengling's wings were fused with Jiang Ming's body bones, they came into conflict with the soul bones of Kiran Tong Xianzhu's trunk. Even if Xiao Ling's life force moderates in the middle, it will take longer to completely absorb this soul bone. Hurry up, hurry up, Jiang Ming was about to die of panic, but he basically had no choice now. The soul imprint just now depleted all his mental power. Now he must quickly restore his mental power to deal with the next catastrophe. Boom! The second catastrophe fell, and Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen rushed forward again. This time, the catastrophe was eliminated, but Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen had already fallen to the ground. The second tribulation is more powerful, but their strength is still too weak. The power of life appears again, but looking at the situation of Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen, the third heavenly tribulation is absolutely unstoppable. Xiao Guang, Xiao Wen, come back. Seeing this, Jiang Ming quickly asked Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen to come back. At this time, the absorption of the external soul bone has reached the most critical moment. Under the relaxation of the power of life, the trunk bone of the Kiran Tianzhu and the external soul bone of the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast are merging. As long as the fusion is completed, the two soul bones that are more than 100,000 years old will play an extremely terrifying role when connected together. However, this must at least survive the third catastrophe. Xiao Feng, Xiao Bing, Xiao Lian, can you get out? Jiang Ming wants to let three elves who have completed 100,000 years of evolution resist the natural disaster. 3 heavenly tribulations. No way, Master. As soon as we go out, Master, your soul imprint will be destroyed by its huge soul power. Now your spiritual power has not been completely integrated with its soul. Xiao Feng said anxiously. At this time, the third tribulation came. Boom! Xiao Guang and Xiao Wen wanted to rush forward again, but were stopped by a ray of green light. Guardian of Life, Xiao Ling took the initiative to dissolve the combination with Jiang Ming and face the third catastrophe. A green light collided with a heavenly tribulation. The power of destruction and life clashed crazily at this moment, and the world seemed to be dyed blue, white and green. Elder Zhuan and Elder Song looked on. Elder Zhuan wanted to take action several times, but gave up. The natural disaster is destruction and a test. The elves are Jiang Ming's power and will not interfere with the heavenly tribulation. However, if he takes action, although he can break up the heavenly tribulation, Jiang Ming and he will be in a lot of trouble in the future. So, it is best for Jiang Ming to get through it by himself. If it doesn't work, then there is no need to worry about the trouble when it comes to Jiang Ming's life. This third tribulation was more powerful than the previous two, and Xiao Ling's life force was not good at defense. For a while, he could only resist it with his strong life force. After a stalemate for more than 10 seconds, Xiao Ling was knocked down, but the third tribulation also disappeared. With a domineering destructive power, dry beads of sweat appeared on Xiao Ling's forehead. This was the first time she had worked so hard after 100,000 years of evolution. After taking a breath, Xiao Ling merged with Jiang Ming again to speed up the fusion of soul bones. 10 seconds later, the fourth tribulation fell. A figure dyed gold and rose into the sky, with strong winds on its left and thunder on its right, forming a pair of purple wings. The terrifying energy and blood seemed to boil the space to the ground. Boom! The fourth thunder was directly dispersed, and the scattered thunder fell in the sky like raindrops. Jiang Ming's body was bathed in it, like a god. 4 tribulations. How many tribulations do you have? Jiang Ming asked the wind and thunder to suppress the prison beast in the spiritual sea. It should be the 7th path, or maybe the 8th path, the Fengling prison beast said hesitantly. 7 paths or 8 paths? With the power of this heavenly tribulation, the 7 paths and the 8 paths are the difference between life and death. I don't know this either. This is my first time to survive a 200,000-year catastrophe. The Fengling prison beast shook its head, unable to give an accurate answer. Fuck. You'd better pray to the 7 paths, Jiang Ming gritted his teeth, and the wings behind him vibrated, allowing him to fly in the air without the need for level 70 soul power. Boom. The 5th heavenly tribulation has fallen. Jiang Ming wanted to disperse it, but was directly knocked down by the terrifying power contained in it. This power is a bit fierce. Fortunately, I merged with Xiao Ling and recovered very quickly. But the heavenly tribulation seemed to have gone crazy, and the 6th heavenly tribulation fell suddenly. Boom. Jiang Ming and Xiao Ling were beaten so hard that they were forcibly separated from each other. There is one last step. Little light, little darkness, little spirit, together, wrong, inspire the power of my golden heart, Fing. Lay wings, turn into thunder. End of this chapter. Chapter 191. The vicious beast clears the way. This is called fighting. Turn into thunder. The wind and thunder suppressing hell beast is equipped with a soul bone skill, turning its body into thunder, making it immune to physical damage. In the thunder state, the immunity to thunder and lightning is increased by 100%. In an instant, Jiang Ming turned into golden thunder, which collided with a blue-purple thunder in the sky. Thunders collided, and the surrounding space for dozens of miles was instantly covered by tiny thunder snakes, and the entire world seemed to have turned into a sea of thunder and lightning. Both Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song squinted at the scene where the sky was as bright as day, their faces full of solemnity. With this blow, it's almost done. A few seconds later, a figure slowly descended from the sky. It's Jiang Ming. He took it. The 7th heavenly tribulation has disappeared. It's finally over. This catastrophe is still quite exciting. A wisp of black smoke came out of Jiang Ming's mouth, and his face had turned as black as coal. But there was a smile on his face. Overcome the tribulation successfully, everything is over. Boom. The 8th heavenly tribulation. Fuck you, Jiang Ming is stupid. There really is an 8th heavenly tribulation. Transform into thunder. Transform into thunder? Time was too hasty, but fortunately Jiang Ming still had some soul power left, and he had not cancelled the combination, the second awakening of the golden heart, and the soul bone skill of Kiran Bianju. After the thunder was used again, the golden thunder transformed by Jiang Ming was chopped down by the 8th heavenly tribulation without any suspense, and was pinned to the top of the mountain and whipped repeatedly. The violent power of thunder was unbearable even in the thunder state, and Jiang Ming was tortured to death. It hurts. It hurts so much. In Jiang Ming's body, part of the violent thunder power was calmed by Xiao Ling's life force, part of it was dispersed by the power of Kiran Bianju, part of it was offset by the power of Xiao Gong and Xiaoan, and the rest, a large portion, electrocuted Jiang Ming's body until it was charred on the outside and tender on the inside. This hurts so much. After only enduring it for less than half a minute, Jiang Ming fainted. Then he was awakened by electricity, and then he was stunned again. Repeated torture. However, Jiang Ming's energy and blood are strong, and Xiao Ling and Rong have extremely powerful vitality, but he just can't die. As a result, Jiang Ming withstood the last 10 minutes of tribulation. The pain is indescribable. Mr. Zhuan and Mr. Song looked on, wanting to intervene but not daring. The power of the thunder clouds in the sky is already decreasing, and the terrifying pressure that pervades the world is gradually disappearing. Everything indicates that as long as Jiang Ming survives this last catastrophe, it will be over. Got it. If they intervene at this time, it is very likely to cause another violent catastrophe. Hold on, Xiaoming, Mr. Zhuan nervously grabbed the wine goblet in his hand, not even daring to blink, for fear that Jiang Ming would be hacked to death in the blink of an eye. Song Lao also had a similar reaction. Two super powerful people in the world could only watch the whole process. It was really frustrating. Fortunately, the result was good. After enduring 10 minutes of thunder whipping, Jiang Ming was still alive although his breath was weak. Xiaoming, after Lei Lei disappeared, Mr. Zhuan immediately went up to check on Jiang Ming's situation. The meridians are damaged, the internal organs are ruptured, the injuries are serious, Zhuan Lao said that the injuries were serious, but he breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. If this kind of injury were to happen to others, it would be a very serious injury indeed, and it might even be life-threatening. But for Jiang Ming, it's not a big problem. Who asked Jiang Ming to carry a super big witness with him everywhere? Nourished by Xiao Ling's life force, Jiang Ming's injuries are recovering bit by bit. The reason why it is recovering bit by bit is because Xiao Ling consumed too much vitality and soul power when he suffered the catastrophe, and now he can only rely on time to slowly recover. Hey, Mr. Zhuan, I just said yes. Jiang Ming's body was in pain and he couldn't move. The power of thunder was still destroying his body, but he laughed happily. Oh, you are so brave, Mr. Zhuan glared at Jiang Ming angrily, and then said, don't lick your face and laugh, and recover well. The 6th soul ring is a ferocious beast-level soul ring. You kid, you have 1,000 years. The first person in history, Mr. 1 by 1, 100,000-year-old soul ring, 100,000-year-old soul bone, and now 200,000-year-old level. Even with Elder Zhuan's experience, he can't calm down anymore. Time passed little by little, and the power of the heavenly tribulation raged in Jiang Ming's body for many days before it all dissipated. When Xiao Ling regained his strength, Jiang Ming's recovery speed from his injuries suddenly increased. On the 5th day after the catastrophe, Jiang Ming had fully recovered. But Jiang Ming hasn't left here yet, he has another thing to do. In the spiritual sea, Jiang Ming looked at the wind and thunder suppressing prison beast that had completely stabilized its soul, and planned to give her a shorter name. Let's call the fangling prison beast Xiao Yu. It sounds quite domineering. After Jiang Ming briefly thought about it, he decided on the name of Fangli suppressing prison beast, regardless of whether Xiao Yutong agreed or not. I'm not young, Xiao Jiao protested, but Jiang Ming ignored her protest. Xiaoming, it's time to go, Zhuan Lao's voice came. Jiang Ming opened his eyes and looked at Zhuan Lao. Mister, as he spoke, Jiang Ming looked at the lifeless body of Xiao Jing beside him. After the soul rings and soul bones were absorbed, most of Xiaoji's body energy had been dissipated, but the terrifying aura of the ferocious beast still existed, and it would not change for thousands of years. Xiaoming, do you want it? Hey, I haven't eaten the meat of a strange beast like the fangling prison beast. I'm here to help you unload it, Mr. The old man's eyes lit up, and the chicken legs in his hands were no longer fragrant. He walked over and took off one of the claws of the fangling prison beast. What? You actually want to eat me? I don't agree. Go away, go away. Hearing this, Xiao Jiu couldn't hold back for an instant. Just because she is separated from her own body does not mean that she is willing to let her body be eaten by others. Your body is useless. If you leave it here for thousands of years, it will turn into bones. You might as well let us have a taste, Lao. Zhuan ignored the little one. Jig reached out and grabbed one of the claws of Xiao Jing's body, and was about to pull it off. Hey, Mr. Zhuan, calm down. Calm down. I don't want to eat Xiaoji's body, it's useful, Jiang Ming quickly went up to stop Mr. Zhuan. Don't eat it? Then you want to use its bones as weapons? That's not a bad idea, the beast is full of treasures, Xiao Jiao panicked. You want to use my body as a weapon? Remove my bones? Well, no. Jiang Ming denied it again, although he seemed to have had this idea just now. I want Xiao Jiao to try to see if I can get in, Mr. Zhuan and Xiao Ji were confused and couldn't quite understand Jiang Ming's thoughts. Go in? What do you mean, Jiang Ming explained, after all, this is the body of Jiang. If she can go in now, wouldn't it be much better? A beast-level combat power. Hearing this, Mr. Zhuan was stunned. Absorb soul rings, absorb soul bones, and also use the body that has been separated from the soul? Xiao Ming, you are a cruel person. Try. Jiang Ming looked at Xiao Jiao and said softly. Let me try this. Xiao Jiao has never tried this. Which soul beast was sacrificed and returned to its own body? This is so different. Xiao Jiao looked at his mighty and domineering body, hesitated for a moment, and then his soul rushed into the main body. It's unimaginable. She went in. Not only did I get in, but it went smoothly. It's just that going in is one thing, but she obviously feels that she can't control it, and there is a strange feeling of separation. It should be because of the imprint of my soul. It's okay. I'll try to establish a connection between your soul and my body. Jiang Ming used his spiritual power to guide Xiaoyu. The soul imprint in the soul establishes a connection with this body. At the same time, Jiang Ming also asked Xiao Ling to inject vitality into the body and activate its vitality. Facts have proved that this is a feasible method. In just one day, Xiaoji's soul was able to control his body again. Very good, Jiang Ming nodded with great satisfaction, and then sat on the big head of Xiaoyu's body with Mr. Zhuan. Song Lao had gone back a few days ago, and now only Jiang Ming and Zhuan Lao are left. Tisk, this is my first experience of using a ferocious beast as a mount, Mr. Zhuan sighed. Hey, Xiaoyu, let's go back to Shrek Academy. After Jiang Ming gave the order, Xiaoyu controlled his body, flapped his recovered blue and purple wings, and rushed forward violently. Toward the sky. Roar, the roar shook the sky, as if he was saying goodbye to this place where he had been for tens of thousands of years. After hovering in the air for a few times, Xiao Jiao flew away into the distance. In order not to cause commotion on the ground, Jiang Ming asked Xiaoyu to fly higher. Under the pressure of ferocious beasts, those flying soul beasts that live thousands or even thousands of meters away don't even dare to get close. The vicious beast clears the way. This is called Pinean. End of this chapter. Chapter 192. The Wind and Thunder Prison Beast is in a state of life and death, facing the wall and thinking about its mistakes. Shrek Academy. Jiang Ming, who was enjoying great glory just now, was currently accepting criticism from Elder Mu in the Poseidon Pavilion. Do you think it's fun, Mr. Mu lay on the chair and spoke slowly. Teacher, I forgot for a moment. The speed of the prison was too fast and I didn't stop. Jiang Ming stood in front of Mr. Mu, with his head lowered, looking like I was wrong. Didn't stop? Xiao Ming, do you know how many people you scared when you just came down? Yan Xiao said angrily from the side. Just now when Jiang Ming and Mr. Zhuan entered the academy on the Wind and Thunder, suppressing prison beast, countless people in the entire Shrek Academy were shocked. That guy, the dean of the martial arts department, almost thought that a wave of beasts was coming. The breath of a ferocious beast. A ferocious beast that is 200,000 years old. Yan Xiaos didn't even dare to say that he could definitely defeat a soul beast of this level, but then he suddenly appeared from the sky above Shrek Academy. If Mr. Zhuan hadn't blocked the aura of the ferocious beast immediately, I don't know how many students would have been frightened. The aura of a 200,000-year-old ferocious beast appears in front of some students who are in their 20s or even only a dozen levels of soul power cultivation. It can really scare people to the point of peeing. I know I was wrong. Jiang Ming admitted his mistake sincerely. He was indeed a little carried away with this matter. Well, just realize the mistake, Xiaos, put him in confinement for a month and let him reflect on it. After all, he did not cause a big mistake, so Mr. Mu only punished him with a small punishment. Just a big warning. Okay teacher, Yan Xiaos nodded. Xiao Ming, you should take a rest this month. After 1 month, the teacher will help you complete the evolution of Xiaoguang for 100,000 years. After saying that, Mr. Mu slowly closed his door. Eyes closed. Xiaoguang's evolution should be a sure thing, but the power of darkness, is it really possible to just rely on Long Xiao's dark holy dragon power? But if it's not enough, do we really have to go to Ditian? This is a troublesome thing, but as Jiang Ming's teacher, he still has to find a way to solve it. A few people left Poseidon Pavilion. Yan Xiaos wanted to take Jiang Ming to solitary confinement, but Jiang Ming said he would wait a moment. He immediately returned to the hut on Poseidon Island and was a little disappointed to find that Zhang Lexun had not returned yet. I can't see you now. I'll be in confinement for 1 month and 30 days. I miss Sister Lexun so much. Okay, I know you are in love, but the teacher said to put you in confinement. And you didn't put that girl Lijuan in solitary confinement. She can come and see you. Yan Xiaos looked helplessly at the junior brother who fell in love, and reminded him softly. Yes, Jiang Ming suddenly realized, and most of the disappointment in his heart dissipated. Let's go to the solitary confinement, Yan Xiaos said. He walked forward, but was stopped by Jiang Ming again. Senior brother, wait a minute. Veins appeared faintly on Yan Xiaos's forehead, with a dangerous smile on his face. Junior brother, the dean of the martial arts department, am not as busy as you. What else can I do? Jiang Ming smiled sheepishly and said, Senior brother, we can't let Mr. Zhuan watch over the small prison all the time. I'll go to the soul guidance department and ask Vice Dean Jin Duaruo to help me get a storage soul guidance device with a larger space. Hearing this, Yan Xiaos nodded. Indeed, that ferocious beast is a bit troublesome. If it remains on Poseidon Island, it will need a strong person to watch over it. It's better to put it in the storage soul guide. Put it in the storage soul guide? Yan Xiaos looked at Jiang Ming in surprise and said doubtfully, Xiaoming, you want to put that guy into the storage soul guide? The storage soul guide cannot be put in a living creature. When Jiang Ming heard this, he blinked and said with a smile, that's not a living thing. Yan Xiaos was even more confused. Such a big and ferocious beast can fly, blink, and roar. Are you telling me that it's not a living thing? Exclamation mark. That's it, Jiang Ming explained to Yan Xiaos as he walked towards the soul guidance department. Theoretically speaking, when Xiaoji's soul is not on the main body is a dead thing. Without his soul, of course he's dead. And when the soul of Xiaoji is inside, it can also be a living creature. That is, between death and life. The difference is whether the soul of Xiaoji is inside or not. When Xiaoji's soul is not inside, as a dead object, the body can be installed with a storage soul guide. But Jiang Ming did not have such a large storage soul guide. Zhuan Lao's storage soul guide was filled with various ingredients and there was no place to put them, so they had no choice but to fly back. I see, this is the first time I have heard of such a thing. I have learned a lot. Yan Xiaos looked like he had never seen the world before and kept sighing. Even though he is the dean of the martial arts department and a super Douluo level expert, this is the first time he has heard of such a thing. Soon, Jiang Ming found Vice President Jin Duaruo and explained his needs. Vice President Jin Duaruo patted his chest and said he would make the thing within a week. The 8th level half-soul instructor is so confident. Afterwards, Jiang Ming didn't say anything more. After Yan Xiaos made sure that Jiang Ming had nothing else to do, he successfully brought him to the solitary room on Poseidon Island. It is said to be a solitary room, but it is actually just a small training room, except that there is a stone wall inside with 4 big characters written on it. Facing the wall and thinking about your faults. We don't know who is facing the wall and thinking about which faults. Anyway, the environment is pretty good. Phew. I can finally take a rest. Get some sleep. Jiang Ming did not take out the book to read anymore. At this moment, he was physically and mentally exhausted and needed a sufficient and high-quality sleep to relax himself. Spirit skillfully took out a set of assembled beds, laid out a quilt, and then took out a thin quilt woven from 10,000-year-old ice silkworms spun by ice silkworms in the past few years, and lit agarwood that had not been used for a long time. Jiang Ming planned to have a good sleep. I have to say that compared with meditation practice, it is more comfortable to completely empty your mind and sleep. This time, Jiang Ming felt that he could sleep all day. Unfortunately, God failed to fulfill his wishes. When Jiang Ming was about to fall asleep, a bold voice sounded. Jiang Ming, Jiang Ming, Jiang Ming drooped his face, lifted up the comfortable Wanyanbing silk quilt, walked to the door, and said through gritted teeth, Ma Zia Ateo, you'd better be fine, Ma. Zia Ateo was startled by Jiang Ming's resentful look. I heard that you were imprisoned and came to see you. Ma Zia Ateo said softly. Oh, thank you, let's talk later. I want to sleep for a while first. After Jiang Ming said this, he turned around and wanted to continue sleeping. After just brewing, his sleepiness has been completely aroused. He really doesn't want to talk anymore, he just wants to sleep. Alice You seeing that Jiang Ming was already lying on the bed, Ma Xiaotao hesitated to speak, and finally gave up. Then you go to sleep first, I will come over to see you later, after. Saying that, Ma Xiaotao left. Dai Heng and others, who were practicing crazily and striving to complete Jiang Ming's surprise goal, heard that Jiang Ming had been imprisoned and wanted to come and have a look, but they were all stopped by Ma Xiaotao. If he wants to sleep, let him sleep first and wait until he wakes up. No one disturbed him. Jiang Ming had a very comfortable sleep. It could be said that it was the most comfortable sleep he had in recent years. He had a good dream. In the dream, he took Sister Li Zhuan to Qingshu City, and they held weddings in both Qingshu City and Shrek Academy. The wedding banquet at Shrek Academy was contracted by the college cafeteria. Thousands of teachers and students in the entire academy ate at the banquet, but no money was given to the participants. End of chapter. Chapter 193. Playing with things makes you lose your spirit. Playing with things makes you lose your spirit. It was originally a very wonderful dream, but not giving money to the members is really too much. Jiang Ming was so angry that he woke up immediately. As soon as these eyes are closed and opened, a day passes. But the feeling after a good sleep is really comfortable. Jiang Ming opened the Wanian ice silk quilt, his eyes were hazy, and he let out a long yawn. This dream, tisk, it's a pity, we haven't had a wedding yet. Jiang Ming's face was full of regret. Although he had woken up, he still closed his eyes and wanted to recall it. Period. But dreams are not something you can recall if you want to, especially some erotic scenes. The more you recall them, the blurry they become. Forget it, don't think about it anymore. I'll feel uncomfortable when the anger comes up. Jiang Ming sighed, shook his head, and took out the toiletries from the storage soul device. As a person with no fixed abode, Jiang Ming has quite a lot of storage soul tools, including pots, pans, tables, chairs and benches, soul tools, books, and toiletries. Put the ingredients and so on. No need to worry about missing daily necessities. After washing up, Jiang Ming looked at the 4 characters on the stone wall and thought about the 4 characters. He sincerely muttered a few words in his heart, I was wrong, and then sat back on the bed with peace of mind, thinking about the next one. What to do during the month confinement. Forget about cultivating soul power. The concentration of soul power and heaven and earth energy in his body has almost burst his powerful body. If he continues to practice, it is not only useless, but also tantamount to court death. Unless he breaks through the bottleneck of level 70, there will be no benefit at all in practicing, only disadvantages. In addition to cultivating soul power, Jiang Ming has also encountered a bottleneck in the cultivation of soul tools. The level of 7th level soul instructors has probably stabilized, but in the soul guidance department of Shrek Academy, level 7 is about to reach its limit. The strongest soul master in the soul guidance system is only level 8.5, and it is still the 8.5 level set by our own side. If you put it in the Sun and Moon Empire, it is estimated to be around level 8. In this case, it would be difficult for Jiang Ming, who is already at level 7, to go further. No matter how talented you are, it's time to enter a slowdown period. After all, it's already a high-end game. The martial soul cannot be cultivated, and the soul guidance device has hit a bottleneck again. I have almost finished writing the book, and there are not enough materials. I can't make soul guidance devices here. Oh, it's so boring. Jiang Ming, after taking some time off, I felt bored for the first time. He lay down on the comfortable soft bed and looked at the ceiling of the solitary room, feeling uneasy all over. At this moment, in Jiang Ming's spiritual sea, Xiao Jiao had already joined the elves at the card table. Against 3, against 6, against sorry, against 2. I'm sorry, 2. The king, I'm sorry. After saying the 3 sorry words, Xiao Jiao has already begun to gnash his teeth. Period. She looked at the 4 cards left in Xiao Ling's hand, and she still had a glimmer of hope in her heart. 4 circles, bomb, me, Xiao. Yu's pupils shrank sharply, and he couldn't understand why Xiao Ling was so lucky. Lost, come on, stick 1, Xiao. Ling put a green note made of mental power in his hand on Xiao Jiao's forehead. There are already 4 notes stuck on Xiao Jiao's head, green, black and white. That was posted by Xiao Ling, Xiao En, Xiao Guang and the others after they won. Of course, they also had stickers on their foreheads, but there was only 1. Generally speaking, Xiao Jiu lost miserably. Are you playing cards? Jiang Ming was bored and wanted to talk to a few people in the Sea of Spirits, but as soon as he came in, he saw the elves and Rongrong Xiaoju. Playing cards, everyone is having a great time. Hey, add me, seeing them having so much fun, Jiang Ming suddenly became addicted to small cards. I haven't played cards for a long time, so I just took advantage of the confinement to play a few rounds. Jiang Ming thought, and another idea suddenly came to his mind. It seems that this card game in Mahjong can also be promoted, and it can also be a source of income. Thinking of this, Jiang Ming's eyes lit up. This is a bit messy. But that was all after he got out, and he is still in confinement now. Ahem, come on, switch me up, watch me kill everyone. Jiang Ming replaced Xiaoan from the card table with great confidence. At this moment, on his left is his new friend Xiao Jiao, and on his right is Xiao Ling, the power of life. This is an unparalleled card game. The species spans the three major races of humans, elves, and soul beasts, and represents the dignity of the three major races. At this moment, the card game officially begins. Outside the confinement, the students of Shrek Academy were attending classes as usual. Since the status of the Soul Guidance Department has gradually improved in the college, more and more students have chosen the Soul Guidance Department after their third grade. In just a few years, the Soul Guidance Department has become filled with talented people. However, there are many talented talents, but only two truly top-notch genius soul masters have appeared in recent years. One is Jiang Ming, who entered the academy 5 or 6 years ago. No, Jiang Ming is not actually counted. After all, he has never taken a serious class in the Soul Guidance Department classroom. The other one, named He Tao, was a child adopted by Fan Yu, a senior soul instructor in the Soul Guidance Department. His talent was not comparable to Jiang Ming, but compared with other students in the Soul Guidance Department, he was already very top-notch. The bell rang, and Zhou Yi walked out of the teaching building of the Martial Arts Department and came to the testing ground of the Soul Guidance Department. Fan Yu, do you want to go see Xiao Ming? Zhou Yi has an old and serious face, looking like a stern teacher who is not easy to mess with. In fact, this is just a disguise mask. Fan Yu warned the students next to him and looked at his wife. Let's go and take a look, but do you really want to look like this all the time? It looks a bit uncomfortable. Fan Yu was a little helpless. His lovely and beautiful wife was disguised as such. The calm look is really a bit jarring. It's not like this when I'm at home. It's just for those students to see. Let's go. Zhou Yi didn't take Fan Yu's words to heart, and now she sees that Jie Ying is fine. Just don't feel sick when you are at home. Fan Yu nodded, asked another teacher to come over and help take a look at these students, and then followed Zhou Yi to Poseidon Island in the inner courtyard. While on Poseidon Island, the two met Mazaya Ateo and others. Yesterday, Jiang Ming wanted to sleep and could not be disturbed. Now that the day had passed, they came over to see Jiang Ming. They couldn't understand why Jiang Ming was put in this solitary room after it had been in so many years. Hello, Teacher Zhou, Dai. Yao Heng and others saw Zhou Yi and immediately said hello politely. Although they are generally stronger than Zhou Yi now, Zhou Yi has taught them for so many years, and his current strength is partly due to Zhou Yi. Well, hello, you guys. Are you going to see Jiang Ming? Zhou Yi asked softly. Dai Yao Heng nodded. Mazaya Ateo said nothing. She and Zhou Yi had basically never met and were not familiar with each other. Then let's go together. Ever since, the group of people walked together and arrived outside the confinement room. I don't believe it. Come again, Master, you have already lost 10 rounds, you can't win again, you are luckier than me. It's still bad, let's forget it. No. I must win a game today. Jiang Ming's voice was so loud that it could be heard clearly even outside the confinement room. Not only that, there were many other sounds in the confinement room, which sounded a bit messy. Isn't Jiang Ming the only one being detained? Why does it feel like there is a group of people inside? Zhou Yi was a little surprised. Hearing this voice, there were at least 7 or 8 people in the confinement room. Someone is in there. I don't know that either. Mazaya Ateo took a closer look and saw Jiang Ming's back through the small window on the door of the solitary room. Jiang Ming, Mazaya Ateo shouted tentatively. Hearing the voice, Jiang Ming slowly turned his head. Mazaya Ateo could not see Jiang Ming's face, but only saw the dense notes on Jiang Ming's head. Colorful notes were stuck on Jiang Ming's face, swaying with the swing of his head. Wait for me for a while, after. Saying that, Jiang Ming turned around again and concentrated on analyzing the cards in his hand. This one has a high probability of winning. As long as Zai Erling and Zai Oji don't have bombs, he has an 80% chance of winning. A smile appeared at the corner of Jiang Ming's mouth, because according to the cards in his hand, the possibility of Zai Erling and Zai Oyu having bombs in their hands was extremely slim. Straight, 17 cards, and Zai Erling directly spread out the cards in his hand and threw them all on the table. Jiang Ming's mouth froze, and his eyes looked at the 17 cards on the table in disbelief. He was dumbfounded. With 17 cards, you can really defeat me? Gan. Playing with things will make you lose your morale. Playing with things will make you lose your morale. No more playing. From today on, quit playing cards, end. Of this chapter, Chapter 194, Famous Flowers Have Owners. Do you know how the big devil got his name? Jiang Ming realized one thing, luck is really a metaphysics. Very metaphysical. Before he joined, Zai Ojiao lost 4 games in a row. And after he joined, he lost 10 games in a row. What does this mean? Broken game. Rubbish card. Are you okay, outside? The confinement room, Zhou Yi and others saw that Jiang Ming's mental state seemed a little bit wrong, and asked quickly. I'm fine, it's okay. With a face full of notes, Jiang Ming spoke to a group of people outside through a closed door, just like being imprisoned in prison and being visited. It doesn't look like he's fine. But he's in good condition, with no missing arms or lameness. Zhou Yi nodded and said reassuringly. Great Demon King, what mistake have you made? Since I entered the inner courtyard, I have never seen anyone locked up in this solitary room. Why did you go in, Guang? Yang Mo was very puzzled, but also very curious. Don't ask, I'll scare you to death, Jiang Ming glared at Guang Yang Mo seriously, then looked at Zhou Yi and Fan Yu. Teacher Zhou, Teacher Fan Yu, I'm fine. I just made a small mistake and was detained by the teacher for a month to rest. It's actually quite comfortable here, confinement. Is the room comfortable? Of course not. How can a place of confinement give you comfortable treatment? But the environment is dead, but people are alive. There are so many good things in Jiang Ming's storage soul guide, how could it be possible for him to suffer? Strong people never complain about the environment. And you guys, how is the training ground? Let me tell you, there are less than 2 years left for the competition. If you can't meet the requirements, I won't let you go. While reassuring the 2 teachers, Jiang Ming did not forget to urge Mazaya Ateo and others. I know, we haven't been lazy during this period. Mazaya Ateo was quite speechless. Her teacher Yan Xiao's didn't even urge her to work so hard. The same goes for other people. After Jiang Ming opened up the 8 extraordinary meridians, their cultivation speed increased a lot and they practiced harder. Maybe it can really meet the requirements, Jiang Ming said. As long as you're not lazy, keep up the good work. I'm optimistic about you. After some pleasantries, Zhou Yi and Fan Yu both left. They are teachers now and have classes to attend. Period. Mazaya Ateo and others also quickly started practicing. After all, the goals Jiang Ming set for them would not be achieved if they didn't work harder. After they left, Jiang Ming went back to fight. He didn't believe it. Sister, I owe this mission to you, otherwise we might have died here, eh? Disciple from the inner courtyard of Shrek Academy said with lingering fear. Something went wrong with the inspection mission he was performing. Originally, he was strong enough to complete the mission, but he didn't expect an accident, which caused the mission's danger to rise sharply. Had it not been for the use of a special signal gun and Zhang Lexun and several other inner courtyard disciples nearby, he would have died. It's okay. Be careful when performing missions in the future. Save your own life first when encountering danger, Zhang Lexun didn't say much and let others deal with the messy battle site. Then walked aside and restored his soul power. The mission took a little longer this time, and there were some accidents. I don't know what the situation is like at Jiang Ming's side, Zhang Lexun thought in her mind, lowered her head and glanced at the silver moon guardian hanging around her neck, with a faint smile on her lips. The breeze blew through her long hair, bringing away longings from the distance. Wow, the eldest sister's head is so beautiful. A disciple from the inner courtyard who looked a little immature looked at Zhang Lexun, his eyes full of admiration. As the eldest sister with the highest cultivation level and the strongest strength in the inner courtyard, Zhang Lexun is very popular in the entire inner courtyard. She is basically the dream lover of all boys. Yes, she is so beautiful, But the eldest sister is already married to a famous woman, so you should save your time, eh? Disciple who entered the inner courtyard earlier said with a chuckle. Ah. The most famous girl in the eldest sister has a wife? Who? As soon as these words came out, the young inner courtyard disciples around them were all surprised. They had all entered the inner courtyard in the past few years. Although they are from the inner courtyard, they have never heard that Zhang Lexuan, the eldest sister of the inner courtyard, is a famous beauty. Who? You don't know? Oh yes, you have only been in the inner courtyard for a short time, so it is normal not to know, the older inner court disciple said solemnly. Senior sister's target is the great demon king Jiang Ming. Hearing this, several inner court disciples instantly stood in order. It turns out it's the great demon king, so that's okay. I originally wanted to compete with that person, but if it's the great demon king, let's forget it. If it's him, I'm quite convinced. The great demon king Jiang Ming? Who is it? Is there such a number one figure in the inner court? Does anyone know who the great demon king Jiang Ming is? Although he is famous, there are still several inner court disciples who did not enter from the outer court, but entered the inner court through introductions from other forces and passed the inner court assessment. They do not know who the big devil is. Is that Jiang Ming very powerful? Do you call him the great demon king? The older inner courtyard disciple smiled and said, do you know the military training in the outer courtyard, eh? Few inner courtyard disciples who didn't know Jiang Ming nodded. I know. What's wrong? Does this have anything to do with Jiang Ming? The older inner court disciple raised his eyebrows and said, it's more than anything to do with it. This military training was proposed by him. Besides, you don't know that the great demon king is also normal. This guy's nickname of the great demon king did not come from the inner courtyard, but from the outer courtyard. Hearing this, several inner courtyard disciples were shocked. Period. You must know that although they entered Shrek's inner courtyard directly through the inner courtyard's assessment, they also know how strict the military training for freshmen in Shrek Academy's outer courtyard is, especially the Hell Week, which is simply abnormal. But such a perverted thing was actually proposed by a student like them? If it's the big devil who broke out from the outer courtyard, then it doesn't seem to matter. The big devil from the outer courtyard is from the inner courtyard. A student from the inner courtyard who looked very arrogant said unconvinced. Hearing this, several inner court disciples who knew Jiang Ming shook their heads. You'd better put away your arrogance. Don't underestimate Jiang Ming just because he is the big devil who broke out from the outer courtyard, the older inner courtyard disciple said solemnly. I also know a little about the situation in the outer courtyard. If I go to the 6th grade from the outer courtyard, I can also be known as the great demon king. Not convinced. Obviously not convinced. Haha, 6th grade? You can be called the great demon king even after you reach the 6th grade and break through the entire outer courtyard? Which one of us can't do that? Another disciple of the inner courtyard who is familiar with the situation. Uskoff. Do you know what he did when he was in the outer courtyard? When he was in the freshman assessment, the others were in a team of 3, and he only had 2 people, but he swept the freshmen and won the championship. When he was in the 1st grade, he single-handedly challenged the entire outer courtyard. He didn't fight against the same grade, but from the 1st grade to the 6th grade, all at once. Hit more. Crush, can you do this? Also, during the upgrade assessment, he slapped a 1,000-year-old soul beast over with a full score. Passed the test. Do you think anyone can call the great demon king? The inner court disciples who knew the situation talked non-stop, leaving several other inner court disciples who had not experienced it in a daze. Is this so strong? Fight. The entire outer courtyard in the 1st grade? In the 1st grade, he has the most soul master, right? The 6th graders in the outer courtyard all have the soul sect cultivation level. Even more than 1 dozen? Still crushing? Can't believe it. They really can't believe it. It's fake false? You can find out if you go back and inquire for yourself. Oh. Yes, this seems to be the one who was attacked by the big devil. Come on, tell me how you felt at that time. I didn't feel anything at all. I was defeated quickly. The student from the inner courtyard who was named didn't want to speak. That incident was the worst blow he had ever received. Those who were abused once took at least a month to recover. Only such a monster is worthy of our eldest sister, senior sister. Do you understand? The older inner courtyard disciple Yao Yao said, and then stood up and walked towards Zhang Lexuan. The mission here is almost over. It's time for them to return to the academy. Of course, it is the senior sister who makes the decision. When Zhang Lexun heard the request of the older inner courtyard student to return, she did not agree, but said softly, "Wait for me for a long time, I'm going to make a breakthrough." The elder inner court disciple was stunned for a moment, then his eyes widened and his pupils shrank suddenly. He knows that senior sister's cultivation level is already at level 79. If she breaks through again, wouldn't she be at level 80? Exclamation mark. Everyone, come here to protect senior sister. Hurry. End of this chapter. Chapter 195. The genius you call has been stagnant for 2.5 years. In Shrek Academy, Jiang Ming finally let go of his obsession after narrowly defeating the true lord. It's so hard to win. During the subsequent confinement period, Jiang Ming did not get bored anymore. Instead, he sorted out the soul rings, soul bones, and skills on his body. First of all, the golden heart martial spirit. The soul ring matching is 1 yellow, 2 purple, 1 black, and 2 red. There are 6 soul rings in total, but after adding 2 soul bones that are over 100,000 years old, there are 12 soul skills. It's quite outrageous. He is only a soul emperor, but he has 12 soul skills. This is a number of soul skills that even some titled Douluo who are not good at it can achieve. These soul skills are, respectively, the first soul skill Heart Shock, the second soul skill Golden Guard, the third soul skill Golden Blood, and the fourth soul skill Golden Pull. Also, the Strange Antler Sky Chrysanthemum Soul Ring Soul Bone comes with 4 soul skills, the power of a diamond, the power of heaven. Vajra is indestructible. Golden Armor Field. The Wind and Thunder Suppressing Prison Beast Soul Ring and Soul Bone comes with 4 soul skills, transforming into thunder. Chasing the Wind. Golden Thunder Realm. Golden Tornado. 12 soul skills may seem like a lot, but they are actually a lot. Of course, the most powerful among them are the 100,000 a year level soul skills. There are 2 of them in domain skills alone. After taking stock of the soul skills of the Heart of Gold, there are even more soul skills in the Book of Spirits. At present, Xiao Guang and Xiaoan, who have not completed 100,000 years of evolution, each have 2 soul skills, and the other 4 elves who have completed 100,000 years of evolution have 4 soul skills. Added together, there are a total of 20 soul skills. 20 soul skills. 2 martial souls and 1 soul skill add up to a total of 32 soul skills. No, besides, the golden combat body that emerges from the second awakening of the golden heart martial spirit can also be regarded as a soul skill. 33. If Jiang Ming's invulnerability to all poisons, which he had practiced in the Ice and Fire Eyes, was included, that would be 34 soul skills. My scalp is numb. Even Jiang Ming, who possesses these soul skills, feels his scalp is numb. Just, the number of this kind of soul skills has exceeded the limit that a soul master can achieve. Fortunately, the soul power used by the elves to release their skills comes from their soul rings, otherwise I wouldn't even have enough soul power to use these skills once. Jiang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly. Sometimes, having too many skills can be quite troublesome. But Jiang Ming has to start getting used to it. After all, he is not fully qualified yet. Only 6 rings. There are 7 rings, 8 rings, and 9 rings behind. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. While Jiang Ming was falling into the distress of happiness, Zhang Lexun had completed the 80-level breakthrough and was on her way back to the academy. Along the way, the inner courtyard disciples following Zhang Lexun could not stop admiring him. After all, Zhang Lexun is only 23 or 24 years old now. She has broken through level 80 at this age. She is truly a genius. Hey, how many years do you think it will take for senior sister to break through the title Douluo? During the boring journey, the disciples in the inner courtyard started communicating again. This exchange centered around Zhang Lexun's ability to cultivate to the realm of title Douluo in a few years. I think with the talent of senior sister, there will definitely be hope before the age of 30. Well, I also think that senior sister can break through the title Douluo before she is 30 years old. You are not talking nonsense. It will be no problem for senior sister to break through the title Douluo before she is 30 years old. I guess 29 years old, I guess 28 years old, well, then I guess 27 years old, 26 years old, 25, hey, don't be too outrageous. Breaking through the title Douluo on the 25th, raising 10 levels of soul power in 1 or 2 years, is still the soul Douluo realm? Do you think is it possible? Listening to the increasingly exaggerated speculations, some people were speechless. Senior sister is already 23 or 4 years old, and she reached level 90 at the age of 25. What a joke. No matter how talented you are, it is impossible. By the way, senior sister has broken through level 80 at such a young age. What kind of cultivation level is the big devil you are talking about now? Suddenly, someone asked about Jiang Ming's cultivation. Everyone looked over and found that it was the arrogant guy from before. I don't know, I haven't seen him a few times when I was in the outer courtyard. At the beginning, he was in the classroom like us, but he couldn't be found later. Me too. After the big devil did those things, he seemed to have disappeared from the outer courtyard. I rarely saw him in the inner courtyard. Yes, the last time he appeared in the outer courtyard was during the upgrade assessment, and he seemed to have disappeared after that. I guess he had been admitted to the inner courtyard by that time. After all, those who have the strength to challenge the entire outer court will definitely have the ability to pass the inner court's assessment. I said, what's the use of you talking about these uncertain news here? The senior sister is here, just ask the big brother. Senior sister, isn't that enough? As soon as these words came out, everyone suddenly realized. Yes. Did it say that the eldest sister and the big devil are lovers? She must know a lot about the big devil. So, everyone sent the most senior students to test. Senior sister, are you and the Great Demon King? Although there are rumors throughout the inner courtyard that the Great Demon King and senior sister are a couple, that is still a rumor. None of the senior sisters have admitted it, so it is better to be cautious and ask. Big devil? Jiang Ming, Zhang. Lexuan was stunned and asked. She entered the inner courtyard very early, and she really didn't know much about Jiang Ming's deeds as the Great Demon King. After all, she met Jiang Ming during the selection process for the competition. Ah, yes, just Jiang Ming. Zhang Lexuan nodded and smiled. As for Jiang Ming, he is indeed my boyfriend. What's wrong? Hearing the true master's personal admission, the disciples in the inner courtyard felt a little chilled. The discussion was so intense before that it was undecided after all, but now that the rightful owner has admitted it, there is no hope at all. So, senior sister, what level of cultivation has the Great Demon King reached now? The elder inner courtyard student asked in a low voice. Everyone listened attentively, wanting to know the strength of this Great Demon King who had won the heart of the eldest sister. I don't know now, but when I came out to perform the mission, he was still at level 69, Zhang Lexuan said softly. As for Jiang Ming's cultivation, Zhang Lexuan felt that there was nothing to hide. After all, they were all disciples of the inner courtyard, and they would have to report their soul power level in any test. It's just that Jiang Ming has been under special circumstances in recent years and has not conducted tests in the inner hospital. Hiss, the big devil is already level 69. The inner courtyard students who had been abused by Jiang Ming took a breath of cold air, feeling extremely horrified. He and Jiang Ming are in the same class, but now he is only a soul king, while Jiang Ming is not only a soul emperor, but also level 69. In terms of age, Jiang Ming is only 18 years old now. Level 69. He is indeed the Great Demon King, with the combat power of the Great Demon King and his soul power of level 69, I guess he can defeat the Soul Saint. That's a must. The Great Demon King's terrifying combat power, combat skills, and soul guides. It's not easy to defeat a Soul Saint. Yes, the Great Demon King, he's still a Soul Master. Everyone suddenly woke up. They almost forgot that what Jiang Ming had shown before was not only the terrifying combat power in martial arts, but also the talent in soul guidance tools. Which Jiang Ming can also use soul tools. Is he still a Soul Master? Don't you know, looking at the junior brothers one by one looking surprised, Zhang Lexuan shook her head slightly. The 69th level soul power is very high for them, it is already incredible. But for Zhang Lexuan, who knew Jiang Ming well, she didn't feel much, and even felt that this level of cultivation was too low. Yes, too low. You know, when she and Jiang Ming first met 3 years ago, her soul power was level 68, while Jiang Ming's soul power was level 62. When Jiang Ming left Shrek Academy more than 2 years ago, he was already level 69. A full 2.5 years have passed, and we are still at level 69. If it weren't for that bottleneck, Jiang Ming might have reached level 80 soul power earlier than himself. The genius they lamented had been stagnant in cultivation for 2.5 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 196. When you go out, the conditions are given by yourself, and the environment is created by yourself. There are still many shocking things about Jiang Ming, but Zhang Lexuan doesn't intend to tell her juniors. Knowing too much is not a good thing for them. Your self-confidence in cultivation will be damaged. Okay, we will go back to the academy soon. Hurry up and get on your way, Zhang. Lexuan ended the topic and led the juniors in the direction of Shrek Academy. Jiang Ming in the college had already packed his bags. Put away the Wanyanbing silk quilt, put away the folding bed, put away the small table, put away the card table, put away the toiletries and pots and pans, etc. All of a sudden, the solitary room was much empty. Soon, Yan Xiaos came outside the confinement room and opened the door of the confinement room. He looked at Jiang Ming, who looked energetic, and rolled his eyes. Xiaoming, can this door really lock you? You can just come out on your own when the time is up. Do you still want me to let you out? Hearing this, Jiang Ming chuckled. Brother, if you bring me here, of course you have to take me out. What a big deal, Jiang. Ming strode out of the confinement room, stretched out his arms to embrace the sunshine outside the confinement room, breathing the air outside the confinement. I just feel it seems to be no different from inside, even a little worse. After all, in the confinement room, he still lit agarwood, the vitality exuded by the little spirit and the scent of fairy grass that came with the hair. It's said to be in solitary confinement, but I think you're enjoying it quite a bit, Yan. Xiaos took a look at the solitary room and smelled the various fragrances that had not dissipated inside. Tutted. During Jiang Mingwen's confinement, his senior brother also came to visit. How should I put it? I was shocked. A solitary confinement room with nothing but a stone wall was turned into a fully equipped room by Jiang Ming. And under the conditions, 1,000-year-old agarwood is burned, 10,000-year-old ice silk is slept on, 100-year-old soul beast meat is eaten, and when thirsty, there is still water of life to drink. He, the dean, has never been treated so well. It made him want to go in and be detained for a few days. In fact, after seeing this situation, Mr. Zhuan had already gone in to drink and eat meat. Oh, senior brother, I am away from home. The conditions are provided by myself, and the environment is created by myself. I will not treat myself badly, Jiang. Ming smiled and took out a cup of milk tea and handed it to him. Yan Xiaos did not refuse. After all, this milk tea had water of life added to it. Even for a super Douluo like him, it would be of some benefit. That's you. If you leave others alone, it would be nice to not be depressed after being locked up for a month, Yan. Xiaos sighed while drinking milk tea. By the way, the teacher is ready. We will start helping Xiaoguang evolve tomorrow, Yan. Xiaos added. Tomorrow? So soon, Jiang. Ming was stunned. He also planned to go to the soul guidance department to get some materials to make a few soul guidance devices to find out the feel. It came to mind so quickly. Yes, the teacher said that the sooner the better. After all, your cultivation level has been stuck at level 69. There is no solution. Break through as soon as possible. I also want to see when you can break through. Titled Douluo, Yan Xiaos patted Jiang Ming's shoulder, his eyes full of expectation. With Jiang Ming's talent, as long as he breaks through this bottleneck, I believe he will soon be able to cultivate intertidal Douluo. When the time comes, they will witness history. Yes, that's right, Jiang. Ming nodded. He also wanted to break through this bottleneck quickly. It's been almost 3 years. That's enough for a 3-year appointment. After talking to Yan Xiaos for a while, Jiang Ming returned to Zhang Lexuan's cabin. Tomorrow I will start helping Xiaoguang evolve for 100,000 years. It will definitely be too late to go to the soul guidance system to make a soul guidance device. There is no point in making a first level or 2-level soul guidance device. They are all assembly line things. When Jiang Ming returned to the hut, the door was still closed. Obviously, Zhang Lexuan hasn't come back yet. Jiang Ming was a little worried, but he didn't feel that Zhang Lexuan was in danger. He used a very special material for Sister Li Zhuan's Silver Moon Guardian. Once the Silver Moon Guardian is triggered, he will receive a message. But now, there is no news coming, so Sister Lexuan should be in no danger. Pushing open the door, Jiang Ming took out the cleaning tools from the storage soul guide and began to clean it carefully. In fact, students in the inner courtyard have their own dormitories. Zhang Lexuan has a small house because her family was destroyed and she no longer has her home, so she regards this small house as her home. After confirming his relationship with Zhang Lexuan, Jiang Ming naturally had no idea of living in the inner courtyard dormitory. The house isn't big, so it doesn't take long to clean. After cleaning, Jiang Ming got busy in the kitchen. While Jiang Ming was busy, Zhang Lexuan had returned to the college. After returning, Zhang Lexuan did not go to hand over the task immediately, but returned to the hut. Looking at the open door and the faint fragrance coming from inside, Zhang Lexuan showed a slight smile on her lips. He is back. Actually, Zhang Lexuan was quite worried on the way back. After all, the last time Jiang Ming went out, he disappeared for 2 full years. But now, my heart is relieved. You're back? Sit down and rest for a while. Food will be ready soon. As soon as Zhang Lexuan walked in, Jiang Ming noticed her aura. The mental power is strong and the benefits are reflected in all aspects. Yes, Zhang Lexuan nodded, sitting on the sofa next to her, looking at Jiang Ming who was busy in the kitchen, with a gentle smile on her face. How was your mission? Did you encounter any danger, Jiang Ming asked while cooking. I didn't encounter any danger, but I met the juniors from the inner courtyard where I was performing my mission and helped them complete their mission, which wasted a little time, Zhang Lexuan said truthfully. In fact, the mission she performed was quite dangerous, but naturally she would not say that in front of the person she likes. Besides, she wasn't injured, so she wasn't in any danger. That's good, go wash your hands and eat. Jiang Ming loosened his apron, put it aside, and said softly. At this moment, there were not many warm words, but both of them felt a warmth in each other's hearts. After eating, Zhang Lexuan went to hand over the task. She has completed the 30 tasks she needs to complete as a member of the Shrek supervisory team, but even if this requirement is completed, Zhang Lexuan will not give up her identity as a member of the supervisory team. Punishing evil and promoting good comes from one's own heart. After handing over the task, Zhang Lexuan returned to the hut to rest. After being separated for 2 months, the young couple in love couldn't wait to stay together all the time and never separate for a second. At night, Jiang Ming changed Zhang Lexuan's bed into a large bed that could sleep 2 people. The ambition of the wolf is obvious. After Zhang Lexuan saw that the bed had been changed, she hesitated and let Jiang Ming get on the bed. She couldn't let Jiang Ming sleep on the floor in the room all the time. Jiang Ming, who succeeded in his plan, went to bed very excitedly. The achievement of sharing the same bed is achieved. It's a pity that we couldn't go further. Zhang Lexuan still has a strong sense of principle. Before anything happened to her family, she was the daughter of a big family and she was very conservative in her ideas. Being able to let Jiang Ming sleep on the same bed as him was a huge relief. Seeing this, Jiang Ming did not force her. On the contrary, he supported Sister Li Zhuan's conservative principles. Being conservative was much better than being overly unrestrained. It's just that the nephrite is warm and fragrant in my arms, which makes it a bit uncomfortable for a strong-blooded young man. The next day, Jiang Ming woke up with light dark circles under his eyes. Yes, he did not fall asleep. Not only because of the problem of strong qi and blood, but also because Sister Lexuan, do you still recognize your bed when you sleep, Jiang Ming asked with a wry smile. After Zhang Lexuan fell asleep last night, she was tossing and turning. Hit his face with his hands several times, and kicked him with his feet, almost knocking him out of bed. Fortunately, Jiang Ming's physical strength was still good, and he immediately hugged Zhang Lexuan tightly when he found out. Is there any? Zhang Lexuan was wearing pajamas, her eyes were hazy, her long hair was hanging on her chest, and she looked a little cute. Jiang Ming's heart was suddenly hit. It doesn't matter if you do, I will hold you to sleep from now on. Another 10,000 words, I can persist for 10 days and 1 month, and win the habitual burst and daily update of 10,000 words these 2 badges? It's a bit confusing by the way, how many days have I been living? I even forgot about it. Thank you all for your monthly votes and recommendation votes. It doesn't matter if you don't have a ticket, it would be great if you can continue to support and subscribe. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197, Gathering of Light, Ultimate Evolution. Jiang Ming, who had never been in love before, suddenly understood a little sentiment in love. Because we like each other, because we love each other, we spoil each other. I really Zhang Lexun looked at the dark circles near Jiang Ming's eyes, pursed her lips and felt a little embarrassed. Okay, it's time for me to get up. It's okay, Jiang Ming smiled, stretched, hugged Zhang Lexun into his arms, and kissed her forehead. You can sleep a little longer, I have to go to the teacher's side, so I'm leaving first. After saying that, Jiang Ming changed his clothes and walked towards the Poseidon Pavilion. At this time, on the distant horizon, light gradually rises. It is the light of morning, dispelling darkness and cold, bringing light and warmth. Coming? Let's start. Mr. Mu seemed to have been lying on the recliner. After seeing Jiang Ming coming, he didn't say much, just said in a gentle and old voice. Junior brother, now is the time when the morning light is rising. It is easiest to activate the power of light. Let's start quickly. Yan Xiaos looked at Jiang Ming and said solemnly. Jiang Ming did not dare to delay and immediately called Xiaoguang out. As soon as he came out, Xiaoguang felt very happy. Poseidon Pavilion is inside the golden ancient tree. The light aura here can be said to be the strongest in the entire continent. Let's start. Mr. Mu opened his eyes slightly. His body was still lying on the recliner, but yellow, purple, black, red and red had already risen under his feet. 9 red soul rings. Looking at the 9 soul rings rising under the teacher's feet, Jiang Ming was very shocked. This soul ring ratio is already the strongest soul ring ratio for soul masters on the entire continent. Although he has more 100,000-year soul rings, most of them are actually due to the special nature of the second martial soul and some prophetic memories. As Mr. Mu's soul ring rose, Yan Xiaos on the side also immediately released his martial soul. Mr. Mu's martial spirit is the holy dragon spirit of light, which possesses extremely strong light power. Xiaos's martial spirit is the bright phoenix spirit, which also has extremely strong light power. Xiaoguang flew around in the space very excitedly. With the release of the martial spirits of Mr. Mu and Yan Xiaos, the light aura in the space became even stronger. But it's not over yet. When the bright aura of Mr. Mu and Yan Xiaos completely filled the entire space, an extremely strong life force was also produced in the golden ancient tree. This power directly compressed the light power of Mr. Mu and Yan Xiaos towards Xiaoguang. The surrounding light power was originally relatively scattered, but with the energy compression of the golden tree, a small sun seemed to be born in the Poseidon Pavilion. The light was so dazzling that it was impossible to look directly at it. Jiang Ming turned his head and did not stare at the light. It was too dazzling. Even with his current strength, looking at it twice would cause damage to his eyes. Not even close. Mr. Mu had his eyes closed at this time, but he could clearly feel Xiaoguang's current state. Such a rich light attribute energy has raised Xiaoguang's status and cultivation to the peak, but more efforts are needed to break through the 100,000-year barrier. Xiaos, Mr. Mu used his mental power to communicate with Yan Xiaos, and Yan Xiaos immediately understood what the teacher meant. The 7th soul skill, the true form of the bright phoenix, the 7th soul skill, the true form of the bright holy dragon. In an instant, a terrifying light, the phantom of the phoenix, appeared in the Poseidon Pavilion, and the pure light aura enveloped the phoenix bloodline, bringing a terrifying oppression. But when the phantom of the holy dragon of light appeared, this feeling of oppression disappeared. The phantom of the holy dragon of light behind Mr. Mu quietly released an infinite and pure aura of light. This aura was powerful, but it did not have a strong sense of oppression. Instead, it had an extremely warm feeling. The light of the morning, releasing. The true form of the martial spirit was not enough. Elder Mu's mental power seemed to reveal the ancient golden tree. With his extremely terrifying cultivation, he actually triggered the rising morning light from the horizon. In an instant, another powerful force of light entered Xiaoguang's body, almost using a tyrannical gesture to break through Xiaoguang's 100,000-year cultivation bottleneck. Successful. Yan Xiaos felt Xiaoguang's changing aura, and a smile flashed across his face. With Xiaoguang's 100,000-year evolution officially started, Jiang Ming will only have Xiaoan's evolution left. After completing Xiaoan's evolution, Jiang Ming's cultivation bottleneck will disappear. At that time, what kind of blowout will Jiang Ming, who has been waiting for more than 2 years, usher in? Yan Xiaos was thinking in his heart and looking forward to it. Mr. Mu didn't say anything. Several soul rings on his body suddenly flickered, including a red soul ring that was 100,000 years old. In an instant, the aura of light rose to a higher level again. The light energy absorbed by Xiaoguang increased again, and the speed began to increase. Seeing this, Yan Xiao's also used some of his soul skills that could enhance the light aura. Although his soul power and soul ring skills are not as good as the teacher's, he is a super Douluo after all. The intensity of the light breath is also unparalleled in the entire continent. As time goes by, Mr. Mu, Yan Xiao's, the light of dawn, the vitality of the golden ancient tree, and the energy from all directions seem to have formed a wonderful balance in the evolution of Xiaoguang. The breath of light vibrates in the space. The breath of the light phoenix and the light holy dragon is compressed and purified by the power of the golden ancient tree. The energy of the morning light is enhanced by the light of the light phoenix and the light holy dragon. The four directions resonating, the light aura continues to improve, becoming more and more pure, getting closer and closer to the ultimate light. This phenomenon lasted for a full hour. When Xiaoguang's 100,000-year evolution stabilized, Mr. Mu and Yan Xiao's put away their martial spirits. They only need to provide sufficient light energy for Xiaoguang to absorb. A limit Douluo, a super Douluo, plus the light of the rising dawn, the vitality blessing of the golden ancient tree, an hour of time, the light power lingering around Xiaoguang is enough for it to complete 100,000 years of evolution. For the next time, just wait. Waiting for Xiaoguang to absorb all this bright energy, he can complete 100,000 years of evolution. Let Xiaoguang evolve here, we will go out first, Mr. Mu said softly. There seemed to be a hint of exhaustion in his old voice. The output of light power that lasted for an hour was a big burden for him, an extreme Douluo who was already seriously injured. Outside the golden ancient tree, Mr. Mu looked at the rising sun in the distance. The warm light shimmered on Poseidon Lake, which looked extremely beautiful. Jiang Ming, Mr. Mu called softly. Teacher, Jiang Ming took a step forward and stood in front of Mr. Mu. There is no problem with Xiaoguang's evolution. Next, I told my old friend about Xiaoan's evolution. He is willing to help you, but whether he can succeed depends on your luck. The tiredness in Mr. Mu's voice became clearer and clearer, as if he was about to fall asleep in the next moment. Teacher, what's your current state, Jiang Ming clearly felt something was wrong with Mr. Mu's state and asked worriedly. Mr. Mu waved his hand and said, it's okay. It's been a long time since I've been using Wuhan for such a long time. I'm just a little tired. After all, I'm getting older. It takes about a month for Xiaoguang to evolve. During this month, follow me and practice your spiritual power. In a month, I will take you to the Sun and Moon Empire to meet my old friend, Jiang Ming nodded and agreed. In fact, he wanted to take Sister Lexuan back to Qingshu City to see Lao Nai and Aunt Lan after helping Xiaoguang complete his 100,000 years of evolution. After all, he had not gone back for more than 2 years. But since the teacher has made arrangements, there is now the last Xiaoan who needs to complete the evolution. Jiang Ming decided that after Xiaoan completes the evolution, he will take Sister Lexuan home. Mr. Mu did not immediately start teaching Jiang Ming to cultivate his spiritual power, but closed his eyes and fell asleep. The next day, under the golden ancient tree, strong light emitted from the golden ancient tree, shining through some holes into the surrounding space. Jiang Ming was in front of Mr. Mu, listening to Mr. Mu's teachings. Your mental power is actually very strong now. With the elves here, your mental power will increase much faster than other soul masters. But you use that soul bone skill in Wind and Thunder Prison. After being killed by the beast, your mental strength must not be enough anymore, right, Mr. Mu said softly. Although your mental power is strong, the Wind and Thunder suppressing prison beast has been cultivated for more than 200,000 years and has reached the level of a ferocious beast. If you put such a powerful soul in your own spiritual sea, your mental power will inevitably be affected. Being disturbed. I will not interfere with your behavior, but as a teacher, I want to help you solve this problem. I will teach you to condense all the spiritual powers in your spiritual sea and strengthen your connection. Try to integrate part of it. End of this chapter. Chapter 198. Zhang Lexuan is in danger. Mr. Mu didn't say anything, but Jiang Ming really didn't feel much. He now has 8 guests in his spiritual sea. Let's not talk about the elves for the moment. They are his martial souls, which can also help him improve his spiritual power and will not interfere with his spiritual power. But Rongrong and Xiaoji are different. Rongrong is okay, it has been fused with a heart of gold, and she is a fairy grass with mild medicinal power and relatively peaceful mental power, so it will not interfere much with Jiang Ming's mental power. But Xiao Jiao was different. She was a soul that was forcibly retained by Jiang Ming using his soul bone skills. Even with his soul mark, the spiritual power attached to Xiao Jiao's soul still had an extremely fierce aura. The soul beast has reached the level of a ferocious beast, and its mental power is extremely powerful. In addition, Xiao Jiao has survived in a dangerous place with thousands of cliffs and wind and thunder, so its mental power has a strong destructive power. Even if this destructive force is forcibly suppressed by Jiang Ming and the elves now, as time goes by, if this thing is not solved, it may cause Xiao Jiao's soul to lose control, and even cause Jiang Ming's mental. There is chaos in the sea. This is obviously very dangerous. Jiang Ming is still young and doesn't know much about mental power. Only after Mr. Mu's words did he understand this hidden danger. After realizing this, Jiang Ming also began to calm down and follow the spiritual power concentration method taught by Mr. Mu to condense and integrate the spiritual power in the sea of spirit. This process is somewhat painful. The condensation of mental power is like condensing a plate of loose sand into a solid whole. To achieve this effect, a force is needed to exert external pressure. This stressful process is undoubtedly a kind of cruel mental torture. Even Jiang Ming, who has experienced a lot of inhuman pain, can't help but grit his teeth and frown. Mr. Mu was standing next to him, looking at Jiang Ming's painful appearance and making no move. He has a way to alleviate Jiang Ming's pain, but there are some things that you need to experience yourself before you can become familiar with them and gain insights. Pain is temporary, gain is permanent. Of course, if Jiang Ming is in danger, he will definitely take action. As time passed, Jiang Ming became more and more familiar with the process of condensing his mental power. His spiritual sea contains complex and powerful spiritual power, which makes his spiritual power very powerful, but also increases the difficulty of condensing his spiritual power. According to this progress, if Jiang Ming wants to condense all the spiritual power in the sea of spirit, it will be basically impossible without 10 days and a half. While Jiang Ming was concentrating on his mental strength, Zhang Lexuan would visit him every day. During the process of concentrating his mental power, Jiang Ming could not be distracted or talk, so Zhang Lexuan sat there quietly, looking at him. When Jiang Ming showed an expression of pain on his face, she would be heartbroken, and when he showed an expression of relief, a smile would also appear on her face. All this was seen by Mr. Mu. He looked at the two little guys with kindness and relief, feeling lucky for his previous decision. This girl Li Zhuan has found her own happiness, Xiao Ming is also a good match, and that boy Bibi has also found someone he likes. My name is Tang Yao. People from the Tang sect have also entered the academy in recent years, but their talents do not seem to be particularly outstanding. Old Mu thought in his heart, and his thoughts were already drifting into the distance. A few days later, Xiao Guang's 100,000 years of evolution has entered the final stage, and Jiang Ming's mental power has only been condensed to the last quarter. Zhang Lexuan did not come today. Her cultivation level has exceeded level 80. She was supposed to get the 8th soul ring a few days ago, but she chose to delay a few days. First, I wanted to spend more time with Jiang Ming. Secondly, it's because there are still a few students in the inner courtyard who want to break through. When the time comes, Elder Zhuan will take them to the Star Dao Forest to hunt soul beasts and obtain soul rings. The Star Dao Forest is not very far from Shrek Academy. With the strength of Zhuan Lao and his team, if they travel with all their strength, they can reach it in less than an hour. Everyone was not in a hurry, but walked leisurely. The most important thing about hunting soul beasts is not rushing for time, but luck. With luck, you might encounter a soul beast that suits you as soon as you enter the Star Dao Forest, and you might even get a soul bone. If you're not lucky, you may not be able to gain anything from adventuring in the Star Forest for 10 days and a half, and you may even get yourself involved. After all, Star Dao Forest, the largest gathering place for soul beasts in the mainland, is no joke. If you encounter a soul beast that you can't handle, let alone hunting the soul beast to obtain a soul ring, your life will be considered if you don't get eaten. Of course, Zhang Lexuan and her party basically have no such concerns. After all, old Zhuan was there to hunt the soul beast this time. With his 98-level soul power cultivation, in the entire Star Dao Forest, as long as the 10 ferocious beasts don't come out, they can't die. The ferocious beasts in the Star Dao Forest are basically in the core area and will not go to the area they are going to. Girl Li Zhuan, you will lead the team when we enter the Star Dao Forest later. If your life is not in danger, I will not take action, Mr. Zhuang took a sip of wine and mouthed Li Nuot on the chicken leg and said lazily. Actually, he didn't need to come this time. With Zhang Lexuan's strength, soul beasts with a cultivation level of less than 50,000 years could not escape from their hands. Soul beasts that have been cultivated for more than 50,000 years, with their lineup, will definitely have no problem protecting themselves. He followed here because he actually wanted to find a better soul beast for Zhang Lexuan. Zhang Lexuan can kill a 70 or 80,000-year-old soul beast, but if she encounters a 90,000 or even 100,000-year-old soul beast, Zhang Lexuan, who has only level 80 soul power, will not be able to hunt it down. Okay, Mr. Zhuang, Zhang Lexuan nodded and watched Mr. Zhuang disappear before her eyes. Soon, Zhang Lexuan entered the Star Forest with the 11 inner courtyard disciples behind her. As the inner court disciples of Shrek Academy, and Zhang Lexuan, a powerful soul master of level 80, the 12 inner court disciples, even in the Star Dao Forest, as long as they are not seeking death, if something unexpected happens, the possibility is very low. After the group entered the Star Forest, they quickly moved towards the target area according to the formation arranged by Zhang Lexuan. The soul masters among them who need to obtain soul rings need soul rings that are more than 10,000 years old. Soul beasts of this age are usually found in the mixed zone and core zone of the Star Dao Forest. The fringe areas are mostly filled with 10-year spirit beasts, and the outer areas are also filled with 100-year and 1,000-year spirit beasts. Only the mixed zone has 10,000-year spirit beasts, which is also the destination of their trip. One day later, Zhang Lexuan and his team successfully found a 10,000-year soul beast in the mixed area that was suitable for one of the students in the team. It was an earth dragon with dragon bloodline power. Although the dragon bloodline seemed very thin, the thin bloodline power alone was enough to make this guy stronger than the soul beasts of his fellow cultivators. Big cut. The 12 people spent some effort to beat the earth dragon to half a disability, allowing the students in the team who needed this soul ring to absorb it. Others are helping to protect the law. And Mr. Zhuang, who had been observing here, relaxed a little when he saw that they were going so smoothly. This is a mixed area, not a core area, so there is no need to be too nervous, not to mention Zhang Lexuan as here Zhuan Lao took a sip of wine and a bite of chicken drumsticks, and regained some energy. Period. The process of absorbing the soul ring was smooth, and no other soul beasts disturbed it. After resting for a long time, Zhang Lexuan continued to lead a group of people to search for the soul beast. Including Zhang Lexuan in their team, there are a total of 5 people who need to obtain soul rings. The one who has just obtained the soul ring is the 6th soul ring. They still need to hunt for soul beasts. Perhaps because of their particularly good luck, in just 5 days, they helped 3 inner courtyard students find 3 soul beasts suitable for them and successfully killed and absorbed them. Only 2 left. Zhang Lexuan is very happy. According to this progress, she will be able to go back soon. But maybe I ran out of luck earlier, and the remaining 2 soul beasts just couldn't be found. Either the soul beast's cultivation level is too low, or its attributes are incompatible. Especially the soul ring that Zhang Lexuan needs. With her talent, the 8th soul ring must be at least 70,000 years old before it is considered a waste. But there are too few soul beasts with 70,000 years of cultivation. Another 3 days passed, and the group finally encountered a 50,000-year-old spirit beast. This soul beast is not suitable for Zhang Lexuan, but it is very suitable for another inner courtyard disciple who needs the 7th soul ring. Do it. After carefully checking that there were no other soul beasts around, Zhang Lexuan ordered to take action against this soul beast. A soul beast with 50,000 years of cultivation is very powerful, and even a strong man at the contra level may not be able to suppress it easily. In order to kill this soul beast, a group of 12 people fought for a full hour before finally seriously injuring this guy. 12 powerful men with cultivation levels above Soul King, including Zhang Lexuan, a soul master with level 80 cultivation, took an hour to seriously injure this guy, which shows how fierce this guy is. In order to ensure safety, the captain Zhang Lexuan even came close to check the status of this soul beast, because the student who wanted to absorb this soul beast was a food-type soul master. If a food-type soul master does not confirm that it has lost its ability to move before absorbing such a powerful soul beast, it is very likely that the soul beast will counterattack and kill it if it is absorbed rashly. When Zhang Lexuan approached this soul beast, the already dim blood-red eyes of this 50,000-year-old soul beast suddenly lit up. Immediately afterwards, Its spiked tail like a poisonous snake stabbed Zhang Lexun fiercely. At the critical moment, the necklace with silver-white gemstones on Zhang Lexun's neck instantly emitted a moonlight-like energy shield. The shield blocked the attack, but the silver moon's light was obviously dimmed, and there was a feeling of insufficient energy. After the silver moon shield blocked it, Zhang Lexun had already moved away, making this guy's dying counterattack in vain. Quick, kill it! Under Zhang Lexun's command, this fierce and cunning soul master was successfully killed, and a black 10,000-year soul ring emerged from its corpse. On Poseidon Island, Xiaoguang had just finished his 100,000 years of evolution, and Jiang Ming still had the last bit of spiritual power left in the Sea of Spirit. Suddenly, Jiang Ming's expression changed. He opened his eyes suddenly, and took out a much darker silver-white gemstone from the storage soul guide. The Silver Moon Guardian has been triggered? Sister Li Zhuan is in danger. Jiang Ming did not hesitate at all and immediately ended the condensation of his mental power. After learning from Mr. Mu that Zhang Lexun went to the Star Dao Forest to hunt soul beasts to obtain the 8th soul ring, Jiang Ming immediately used the skill of wind and thunder to suppress the prison beast with soul bones attached outside it. Chasing the wind. Under the effect of this soul skill, Jiang Ming's flying speed increases by 300%. End of this chapter. Chapter 199, being targeted by a 100,000-year soul beast, there were casualties. With Xuanzi here, how could that girl Li Zhuan be in danger? Mr. Mu looked at Jiang Ming's hurried figure, and his wrinkled old face wrinkled up, making him look even older. A few points. Is it possible that a ferocious beast has taken action? Mr. Mu whispered softly, and then disappeared from the place. Hurry up. Hurry up, Jiang Ming's face was filled with anxiety as he frantically injected his soul power into the external soul bone behind him. With a blessing of wind-chasing skills and wind and thunder wings, Jiang Ming's speed reached a terrifying level. At this speed, the journey from Shrek Academy to Star Dao Forest will not take more than half an hour at most. But Jiang Ming still thinks it's too slow. There are dangers everywhere in the Star Forest, and Zhang Lexun triggered the Silver Moon Guardian again. For half an hour, if Zhang Lexun hadn't held on, Jiang Ming couldn't even imagine what would have happened. Sister Li Zhuan, wait for me, wait for me. Jiang Ming's face was somewhat deformed by the howling wind, but he still did not lower his posture a little bit. Speed, he just wants to be faster, faster. On the other side, Zhang Lexun and her group were protecting the inner courtyard students who had absorbed the soul rings. After he absorbs this soul ring, they only need to find another soul beast with a cultivation level of about 70,000 to 80,000 years, suitable for Zhang Lexun, and they can go back. Soul beasts with a cultivation level of 70,000 to 80,000 years are already close to the top of the combat power among soul beasts, but they have a total of 12 soul masters with a soul king level or above, and with the senior sister Zhang Lexun here, a group of people forming a battle formation and hunting a soul beast with a cultivation level of 70,000 to 80,000 years is not a big problem. Zhuan Lao, who was observing in secret, had the same idea, so in order to save time, he looked in a farther direction. It would be great if Zhang Lexun and the others could find it by themselves. If you are unlucky and can't find it for several days, you might as well help find one. So, with all his efforts in searching for a soul beast suitable for Zhang Lexun, Mr. Zhuan no longer paid much attention to Zhang Lexun and his group. And almost when Zhuan Lao went deeper to look for the soul beast, in the darkness, a pair of huge blood-red eyes quietly opened, and the huge body walked quietly towards the location of Zhang Lexun and his party. This soul beast is extremely clever at concealing its aura. Almost its entire body walks in the shadows of the forest trees without leaking any aura. Even Elder Zhuan, without paying special attention, I didn't even find this guy. In just a few minutes, it arrived not far from the area guarded by Zhang Lexun and his party. Senior sister, all that's missing is your soul ring. What kind of soul beast are you planning to find? The process of protecting someone is a bit boring, so be vigilant while maintaining the formation. Under the circumstances, a student from the inner courtyard wanted to chat to relieve his boredom, so he asked Zhang Lexun softly. Me? Just find a soul beast that's about 70,000 years old. Although this is a mixed area, there are still quite few soul beasts that are 10,000 years old. If you can find a soul beast with this level of cultivation, that's about it. Zhang Lexun did not have high psychological expectations for the lifespan of the soul beast. Although there are more 10,000-year soul beasts in the mixed zone than in the outer areas, they are also very limited. The truly powerful 10,000-year soul beasts are basically found in the core area of the Star Dao forest. And in that area, let alone a 10,000-year-old soul beast, it would not be a surprise even if you bump into a 100,000-year-old soul beast. As for the 100,000-year soul beasts, with their strength, even if they formed a battle formation, they would not be able to resist at all. Zhang Lexun didn't plan to take risks there. She just wanted to get the soul ring safely and go home quickly. How can that be done? Senior sister, you are the first and second genius in our inner courtyard. This 8th soul ring requires a soul beast with 80,000 years of cultivation. People originally wanted to say that Zhang Lexun was the #1 genius in the inner courtyard, but when the words came to their lips, they thought of the pervert big devil. What Zhang Lexun mentioned before about Jiang Ming's soul power cultivation has been spread by those talkative inner court disciples. Almost everyone in the inner court knows that Jiang Ming is a level 69 soul at the age of 18 emperor. This kind of cultivation talent is the absolute #1 genius. Although the senior sister is also very powerful and has a high prestige among the disciples in the inner courtyard, she still has to accept the facts. Zhang Lexun naturally heard the twist in the words. But she didn't care. She never cared about the title of the first genius, not to mention that the first genius is still her lover. 80,000 years? I think 100,000 years is also okay. If the strength of the senior sister is 100,000 years in the 8th spirit ring, she will definitely be a famous powerhouse in the mainland in the future. A little fan of Zhang Lexun said enthusiastically, with a happy look, as if she had seen Zhang Lexun become the top powerhouse in the mainland. 100,000-year soul beast? It's better to say goodbye. We can't defeat the 100,000-year soul beast. Some people shook their heads wildly. 100,000-year soul beast and the others joined forces. There's only a life of being eaten. Oh, have you forgotten that Mr. Zhuan is protecting us secretly? If there really is a 100,000-year soul beast, with Mr. Zhuan's strength, it can be easily taken down. Okay, the little fangirl is not worried at all. Against a 100,000-year soul beast, an ordinary title Douluo at level 91 might not be able to defeat it, but at level 92 or 93, he would have the strength to fight. Up to the 95th level of Super Douluo, one can steadily suppress a 100,000-year soul beast. And Mr. Zhuan, with a level 98 soul power cultivation, suppressed a 100,000-year-old soul beast with ease. That's right, everyone nodded. You guys, where's it so easy to find a 100,000-year-old soul beast? Don't think too much. Once we find a suitable one that's about 70,000 years old, we can go back. Zhang Lexun didn't have too many questions. Thoughts, although the 100,000-year soul beast represents an opportunity, it also represents a crisis. Even if old Zhuan suppresses it, the 100,000-year soul beast is not so easy to absorb. She now wants to return to Jiang Ming safely. Calculating the time, Xia Guang's 100,000 years of evolution should be over. When Xiaoan evolves again, he will be able to practice again. He should be very happy by then, Zhang Lexun thought to herself, with a faint smile on her lips. The aura of the disciples in the inner courtyard who were absorbing soul rings and were being guarded by everyone had gradually stabilized. When he completely absorbs this 50,000-year-old soul ring, there will be one more food-type soul saint on the mainland. Whoosh! A shadow passed by, and the entire throat of an inner court disciple with a lower cultivation level behind the formation was instantly pierced. Oha! Oha! This inner court disciple wanted to remind everyone, but his throat was pierced and he couldn't make a sound at all. Even his life force was instantly sucked away, and he didn't even have the strength to make some movements. There is an enemy. Although the groan from the inner courtyard disciple whose throat was pierced was very subtle, Zhang Lexun still noticed something was wrong. From the beginning, the subtle sounds in the surrounding environment have almost disappeared. Those insects and birds are gone. In a forest teeming with life, this phenomenon is absolutely abnormal. It was precisely because all the surrounding sounds disappeared that Zhang Lexun heard the inaudible moans of those few people. Under Zhang Lexun's reminder, everyone quickly reacted and took a fighting stance. But as someone was killed directly, a gap appeared in the entire battle formation. Everyone else was ready, but the inner court disciple who was still absorbing the soul ring was almost defenseless. Whoosh! The shadow struck again. Zhang Lexun wanted to stop it, but the shadow was too fast. End of this chapter. Chapter 200 Suppression by the Breath of the Beast. No, get out of the way. Zhang Lexun reminded as she took out a level 6 soul ray and shot at the shadow. Shadow noticed this soul ray, but made no attempt to dodge it. It still rushed towards the inner courtyard disciple who was still absorbing the soul ring. Bang! The soul ray hit the target, but what was shocking was that the shadow didn't react at all after being hit. It even stretched out its tail-like thing and penetrated the throat of the soon-to-be food-type Soul Saint Soul Master in the same way. When everyone saw this scene, they were stunned for a moment, and then their eyes were filled with anger. You are looking for death? An inner court disciple whose cultivation level has reached the Soul Emperor level yelled, and 6 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black, quickly appeared on his body, 2 of which the black soul ring flashed instantly. A male lion phantom appeared, with a wild aura, and rushed towards the shadow. However, this 10,000-year soul skill displayed by the powerful Soul Emperor was directly penetrated by this shadow. It's a 100,000-year-old soul beast. Everyone, get out of the way, Zhang Lexun's pupils shrank suddenly. The 6th level soul guide ray has no effect, and the Soul Emperor level 10,000-year soul skill has no effect. Being easily defeated is not the strength that a 10,000-year soul beast should have. This is a 100,000-year soul beast. This is obviously a mixed area. How come a 100,000-year soul beast appears? Zhang Lexun was extremely puzzled, but now was not the time to think about it. A 100,000-year soul beast is an existence that is difficult for them to contend with. Especially for this kind of extremely agile 100,000-year soul beast, it is simply too easy to hunt down people like them. The Soul Saint's cultivation may be able to sustain 1 or 2 moves, but the Soul King may be finished after 1 hit. Zhang Lexun used her soul skills to increase her speed, and at the critical moment, she pulled away the inner courtyard disciples who were attacking the soul beast. The lion's shadow was penetrated. If he still stayed there, he would definitely die. Everyone, gather here. Those with high defense will stand outside, and those with low defense will stand inside. Hurry, faced. With this super agile 100,000-year-old soul beast, disperse. Running away is the most unwise option. In the Star Forest, you cannot outrun a 100,000-year-old soul beast. Sister, how come there is a 100,000-year soul beast here? The little fangirl looked around with fear on her face, her voice trembling. For ordinary soul masters, a 100,000-year-old soul beast may not even be seen once in a lifetime. Not to mention facing the terrifying pressure from a 100,000-year-old soul beast. I don't know, but this guy is very strong. We must hold on. Zhang Lexun has tensed up to the extreme, her eyes constantly scanning the surrounding space, trying to find that shadow. But the shadow is so good at hiding that it can't even be found when it doesn't take action. Where's Mr. Zhuan? Isn't Mr. Zhuan protecting us secretly? Why hasn't he shown up yet, eh? Disciple from the inner courtyard whispered. Zhang Lexun also wanted to ask, but she didn't know what happened to Mr. Zhuan. What she has to do now is to protect these juniors and at least prevent a few deaths. 2 of them are already dead. Whoosh! The shadow appears again. This time, its target is an inner academy student who is still a soul emperor. Be careful, Zhang Lexun quickly used her soul skills to open this attack. She did succeed, but the shadow's gaze shifted to Zhang Lexun. Come and fight me. Zhang Lexun seemed to have noticed the shadow's gaze. She actually provoked the shadow and attracted it to attack her. It's not that Zhang Lexun wants to die, but this guy is too strong. Others will face death and no chance of survival. If she comes to face it, she can at least survive a few moves. Whoosh! Shadow seemed to be irritated by Zhang Lexun, and this time the attack was directed towards Zhang Lexun. This attack is extremely fast, but there is no sound of breaking through the air. It is extremely quiet, but extremely dangerous. The 6th and 7th soul rings on Zhang Lexun's body lit up one after another. Facing a 100,000-year-old soul beast with such powerful attack power, Zhang Lexun did not dare to be careless at all. Powerful attacking soul skills. A silver halo of light fell from the sky. With a blessing of Silver Moon's true body, even a strong man at the contra level did not dare to resist this blow. But this shadow was held up with force. Fortunately, this wave of offensive seemed to be interrupted, and the shadow disappeared into the surrounding shadows again. And just when Zhang Lexun breathed a sigh of relief, shadow actually killed a carbine. In a hurry, Zhang Lexun could only use the first few soul skills to intercept. But the first few soul skills are too weak to intercept the shadow's attack. When the shadow rushed in front of Zhang Lexun, a silver moonlight lit up in front of Zhang Lexun. Bang! After holding on for less than a second, the silver moon barrier was shattered. The 7th level defensive soul guide is very useful against ordinary 10,000-year-old soul beasts, but it cannot survive the attack of a 100,000-year-old soul beast. The moment the silver moon barrier was shattered, Jiang Ming, who had already flown to the outskirts of the star forest, was shocked. The silver-white gem he held tightly in his hand was broken. This is what happens when the silver moon guardian is shattered by an extremely powerful force. Obviously, Zhang Lexun encountered a huge crisis. Sister Lexun, where are you? Jiang Ming could guess that Zhang Lexun and the others would hunt soul beasts in the mixed zone of the Star Dao Forest, but the mixed zone of the Star Dao Forest it is also a very large area. Even the area close to Shrek Academy is also very large. If you want to find Zhang Lexun in a short time, ordinary methods will definitely not work. Jiang Ming flew rapidly in the mixed zone, looking at the lush forest below, his face extremely anxious, and even a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. No, you can't find it like this, Jiang Ming panicked, but then he thought of a solution that was not a solution. Xiaoji, come out, Jiang Ming called Xiaoji out of the sea of spirit, and then let her enter her body. Release the pressure of your soul beast to the maximum. Sister Li Zhuan encountered danger in the star forest, and there was a high probability that she encountered a powerful soul beast. As for Xiaoji's body is a ferocious beast, as long as it releases its breath, it can frighten other soul beasts with low cultivation levels. Although it will also shock human soul masters, it will have the greatest impact on soul beasts. Jiang Ming doesn't know if this is feasible, but it is urgent and he can only do this. Yet, Xiaoju could feel Jiang Ming's eagerness, so he immediately released his ferocious beast's aura. In an instant, with Xiaojiao's body as the center, the terrifying aura of the beast spread rapidly. After feeling this terrifying aura, all the soul beasts within a 10-mile radius fell to the ground and trembled, no matter what they were doing. The mixed area is filled with soul beasts that are thousands of years old. Under the suppression of the aura of the ferocious beasts that are 200,000 years old, they don't even have the courage to resist. The 5th day of the 10,000 word update, keep rushing. Thank you brothers for your recommended monthly tickets. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.